Like, what are you talking about, pal?
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So you could view it.
twitch.tv/BetQL. Um, it's like
Interesting.
a it's like a light orange stain. I don't even know how it happened. This is a nice like cotton shirt. Like my dad's friend who was in Canton at the Hall of Fame got me this. He goes, "Yeah, give
Oh,
this to Patty." And I'm like, "Yeah, pal. Where did you
okay.
get this from? Some vendor selling it on the street? Because I've wore it one time and it's got pit stains all over the place."
Isn't that isn't that uncomfortable when somebody goes away on vacation and they bring you back souvenirs of a trip you were not on? Why is that a thing? And why do you feel obligated sometimes when you're on a trip to bring back souvenir? Why do I need something from where you were?
Okay. Well, now we've got our first disagreement. That only took 10 minutes. What are you talking about,
Okay.
dude? It's like a memento for somebody, whether they went on the trip, whether they could go on the trip,
Yeah,
or
but
there was
I
no
didn't
chance they were ever
experience
going
the
on the trip.
trip. Why do I need your stinking t-shirt from where you went? Like, my grandma used to come back with, like, "Look, here's, Orlando shirts. Here's Vegas shirt." Why? I don't need that.
Because she's thinking of you, because she was a nice lady and you're just a spoiled piece of garbage. I don't know.
How am I a spoiled piece of garbage? I don't need your shot glass from Bermuda. I didn't go on the trip.
Okay, well, a shot glass is different, especially if you're like a little kid at the time. But like when I go on trips, when I go to Vegas with my dad every year for his pizza expo, when I went to Italy to see my brother, when I
That's a
went to
sentence.
Germany to see my brother, and I come back and I give them, a memento, any kind of little gift, toy, stuffed animal, plush animal, little T-shirt from any of those places, like they love it. Like that's you're thinking of somebody. That's a nice, thoughtful gift. It's like, hey, I went on this trip. I got you something. Here's a piece of Italy for you. Here's a piece of Vegas for you.
Okay.
It's a
Well,
stripper
nonetheless,
thong that I brought back.
Pat, I wanted to ambush you today. Okay, is that okay? Now that we've worked on the
Yes.
stripper's thong joke?
Yep.
So I had this sent to me by a man that we call the Bayou Bear that we know well. He tracks a lot of sports media and radio. I've known him for a long time. He's more or less my online bodyguard. Okay. And he said, "Did you see what the internet is saying about Pat Boyle?" I said, "What do you mean?" And he sends me a link. Do you want to know what the internet is saying about you today?
Sure.
Have you seen this before I tease it up? You could be honest. We don't have to fake this. Have you seen this?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. One day ago on Reddit, here's the post. The way Pat Boyle is described on the air, he comes across like a rich frat boy who bullies people around him. I have no idea if that's true, but that's what I get from the way people talk about him, which led to one comment, particularly I wanted to bring up. He is a rich frat boy. Before he went full time, his brother in law hooked him up with a cushy job selling awning and bleep like that. Pat is also a meathead. Care to respond here? Let's get the show off to a spicy start.
Is that the WFAN Reddit page?
That it is, Pat. That it
That
is.
page is a cesspool. That is a cesspool. That's
Yeah.
why I never checked that because all they do, it is a bunch. There's a couple thousand members, if I remember correctly. WFAN, obviously, me and Sean's home base back in New
Yeah.
York, Sean on afternoon drive every
But I
day.
thought our BetQL audience deserved to know what the localites think about you, Pat.
Yeah, well, let me give our audience here a little taste of the localites and what kind of beings they are in terms of the Reddit page users. Where again, anonymous people, they don't. You could be anonymous on Twitter with the egg photo or Tommy654789. Then to go to another level of anonymity because you have no life, you are a loser. You probably live in your mom's basement. Those are the types of people that use the WFAN Reddit page. And I've checked it. I check it maybe like once every 6 months. Because again, it is nothing but whiny old incel men who have nothing better to do with their time than to complain about every single sound and noise and second and minute that comes out of their radios or out of their phones when they listen to New York sports talk. So I don't give a rat's ass what the people of the WFAN Reddit page think about me, and nothing in that statement was remotely correct. A cushy job selling awning, I guarantee you
I
that
know for sure.
99% of America makes a higher salary than I do in that job I do. That is a side hustle so that it can make ends meet so that I could chase a dream of a sports broadcasting job, which, by the way, I don't know if you know, unless you actually, make it as a full-time host, doesn't really pay that well.
Well done, Pat. Look, what are you going to do? I had to bring it to your attention. I'm back in. I think I have to go back to checking this page full time. It was a healthy break, but Bayou Bear sends me good stuff like this. I'm in. Another listener, a female, also said he's also trying to start an OnlyFans account. Check out his pic of him in a towel in a bathroom mirror calling out Morash. So there you go. Starting an OnlyFans account.
That happened. I didn't know we had a female saying I should open up an OnlyFans account.
Well, on Reddit, I can only imagine what she looks like.
We got a little bit more to get into regarding this in the week that was. Interesting week for both of us. And Bayou Bear, by the way, got off to a rocky start with him. Love the guy now. Love him.
All right. Well, clearly Pat is upset. So next, we're going to give you our top 5 most memorable upsets of all time in the sports world following what we nearly had yesterday with South Sudan versus the USA. That's called a really good radio tease and me being clever. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM with Sean Morris and Pat Boyle. Continue on next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same?
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend here, presented by BetMGM. Justin Rose making a push. How about this? A New York Giants hoodie right in the background here of Henley's shot at the British Open. That's amazing. Look at that. Global.
I totally
empire,
forgot
those
the
New York
Open
Giants.
was today. Like that, the finale. Like
Yeah.
I have totally wiped this tournament kind of from my existence, if we're being honest.
Because you're losing bets, or because you're just not interested in the British?
Not interested. Not interested. And from the couple of highlights I've seen, it just looks like an absolute mess there, right? I mean, the weather's been
It is.
crap. Go ahead.
Can we have an honest discussion where I show you how naive I am?
Sure.
Okay. Why is it every single year? I actually like the British Open because I like that it's on in the morning, like Saturday, Sunday morning, get up, it's something on before I, basically the biggest parts are done by the time I get roped into baseball or whatever I have to do every year. I prefer my golf in the morning. That being said, why every single year is the weather horrendous for this? But yet, your tennis, Wimbledon, which takes place, I am right, in somewhere in England, why is the weather always relatively good?
Well, that's
What about the golf does every year? Like we never get sunny skies there any year in the British Open. The weather always stinks, which is kind of cool, the wind and everything, but why?
Yeah, well, and today this year it's at Royal Troon in Scotland, which is right like on the water on the
Yeah, they're playing on the
southwest.
beach.
Yeah. So, I mean, it rains there in the UK and Scotland and whatever, all those little countries all the time. So, I mean, it's just you're just asking to be upset with the weather. Wimbledon, actually, there was a ton of rain. Their two main show courts, though, have roofs. So most of the
Oh.
matches you would see on TV are on the main court, center court, or court one, which both have roofs. But there was like some serious delays, like matches got pushed back, to the point where like 7-8 matches, if not more, that were scheduled that day had to then get pushed to the next day for like 4 or 5 days in a row at Wimbledon because it was constantly raining. It just always rains in London, in England, Scotland, North. Like I can't
Wales,
explain to you
right.
why.
Yeah. So that being said, I'm in favor of traveling the world and all of that. I will say every time I watch the British Open, it makes me think like, yeah, I'm good if I never see like Scotland or England. I'm sure they're beautiful places, but what a turnoff. And what a turnoff it must be to live there where it's just constant rain. My God. But nonetheless, we'll track the Open throughout. All right. South Sudan nearly beat Team USA yesterday, but they didn't. And it was an exhibition. So I just want to say this. I know it was 33.5. Hold on. I have to clear my throat here. I know it was 33.5 on the point spread. But the fact that it was an exhibition, if Team USA would have lost yesterday, I still would not have considered it one of the great upsets I've seen in my lifetime or a memorable upset just because It's an exhibition. Think about it, it's almost Inception. It's an exhibition of an exhibition. Like the Olympics to me, still in general, they're not the NBA finals. It is in theory an exhibition tournament. I know you crown a champion, people take a lot of pride in winning the gold, and you want to disagree with me, that's fine. Now think about the exhibition leading up to that. So I would have never considered yesterday one of the more memorable upsets I've ever seen. But our producer Amir did a good job here in terms of us ranking these. What do you have something to argue? Go ahead, Pat. You could argue.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, I agree with you. Wouldn't have even like. Who's to say? And I didn't watch the game. Now I was working yesterday at WFN in New York. Actually, showing that I'm a hard hat guy, blue collar guy. I was actually cutting highlights for the Yankees and Mets games. But yeah, so I didn't watch the game. And even when we were down like 14 at the half, I was like, they're gonna win. Now it turned out to be come down to the final shot. South Sudan, somebody could actually hit like a 6-foot jumper or a putback. They probably win the game. Who's to say that we didn't totally sleepwalk? And I didn't watch the game, so I didn't see the quality of shots. I didn't see the pace. Who's to say in an exhibition of the Olympics against South Sudan that we just totally slept walk through the motions? Even when we were down 14, it was like, all right, this game doesn't matter. Maybe LeBron and Steve Kerr and Steph Curry and everybody said, all right, well, we keep this kind of close. Maybe it gives us a little extra juice. Maybe it gives us a little extra headlines in the media. Now people are going to watch us because they think there's a chance we can lose. You ever think about that?
I thought about it a lot this morning, and I thought I was going to be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs if I said that on the air. But yeah, like a little, hey, cause a little drama so people actually care about the Olympics.
Right.
So now you said it. So now I don't feel so crazy. But with that, Pat, we've been given the task, most memorable sports updates, sports upsets of all time. We're going to go 1 through 5. We've done a lot of like coaching, hot seats in the NFL. It's been kind of a fun segment. Everybody loves a good little list. I want to tell you, I could be missing some. This is personally for me, I'm going to rank 1 through 5, the ones that when I think of great upsets come to my mind. And if they offend you, I'm sorry. If I missed one, I'm sorry. This is without looking it up, 1 through 5, okay? You prepared for this? You little sleepy man? You little sleepy Pat Boyle?
I'm not sleepy. Right. I'm ready. I've been ready.
All right. So are we? I forget every week how we do this. Do we go 5, 5, 4, 4? Do we rip off our whole list and then rip off our whole list?
No, let's go piece for piece, tit for tat.
Tit for tat. All right, here we go. Number 5 for me. People aren't going to remember this, but I will. Giants versus Packers 2011 divisional round. Why is it a big upset? The Packers were 15-1, by far the best team in football. And in came Eli Manning into Lambeau Field, stared Aaron Rodgers in the face. And by the beginning of the fourth quarter, it wasn't even a game. The game featured Hakeem Nicks catching a Hail Mary to end the first half. The Giants would go on to win Super Bowl 46. But people forget because they played the Patriots that year, the second time, the rematch. They upended the 15-1 Packers. And if you want to look back at Aaron Rodgers only having 1 Super Bowl in his entire career, that was his greatest team. And at times he was a disaster in that game. Giants-Packers 2011 divisional round. Giants, by the way, I believe were a 9.5-point dog in that game.
Okay. Very good. I'm sure we'll see some more upsets, including the New York Giants. For me, number 5, and again, it's your most memorable sports upsets. So I would say the first 2 of these that I'm going to give you, I wasn't even alive for or didn't even watch, but it's still something that I heard about. Like it has like this aura for me as a kid growing up. Like I would think about that so many times throughout my childhood. And it has this gravitas because of the way my dad talked about it, the way my parents would talk about it, the way that I would see it talked about on TV. Joe Namath guaranteeing that the Jets are going to win Super Bowl 3, and then they beat the Baltimore Colts, who were 13-1 going into the Super Bowl, triple outscoring their opponents on average every game. And and the point spread for that 18-point underdogs. Now I'm sure it's, again, it's Super Bowl 3, betting obviously wasn't legal. It was, all whatever, how you would place a bet back then in none of the 60s. But anyway, they had them as 18-point underdogs. Nobody gave the Jets a chance to win that game. And then Joe Namath guarantees, Joe Cool, poolside with his mink coat or whatever he was wearing, the aura that he had. And he goes, we're going to win the game. I guarantee it. And the Jets go out and they handily beat them 16-7. That for me, that's always one of the best upsets of all time.
Hard to argue with that. Didn't make my list. Bad job by me. Not, a little hidden missed part about that game is I've done many deep dives. You would assume without looking anything up and the era of football that Johnny Unitas was the quarterback of the Colts that day. He was not. He had gotten hurt earlier in the year. Had he not been, did the Jets win that game? Don't know.
And
Okay.
really quickly, Sean,
Yeah.
you know what? I made my top 5 mostly different because here's a little peek behind the curtains here. So we have it on the rundown. So I saw most of what you picked. I said, let me throw in a couple of different ones that Shawnee didn't think of. So yes, basically the
So
next
are you
4
being true to your list then? Are you giving us a true list or just a list to give us different ones because you already saw mine?
No, because number one is indisputable for me, and you may or may not have it as number one as well. May not be on your list at all, but number one for me is indisputable. The rest are all great ones that I think are interchangeably top 5 for several
Okay.
different portions of the country.
Okay. Well, number 4 for me is going to be the 2007 Fiesta Bowl. Boise State was a 7.5-point dog. Was not that crazy to think about. Playing Oklahoma, Boise State wins. Statue of Liberty game. The guy proposing to his girlfriend. That game was chaos for college football. And I was fortunate enough to get to visit my previous radio stop, Boise State, go to a Boise State game. That game means everything. That game basically helped revitalize that city in many ways economically. But Boise State, who's 9 in the nation, but they were that group of 6 team, go in there, play Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. The fact that they won that game on such a crazy play, I mean, that was a where were you when it happened kind of night for a sports viewer I will never forget. Any
Yep,
thought?
I agree with you. So I'm just
Jeez.
we're having a day
You
here.
right?
I switched tabs to go to the rundown, and then I went to go switch back to our studio, and just laptop's deciding to be a big old piece of turd today. So apologies for the
Oh.
delay there. Yeah, that is something that I do remember watching that game and having my nips blown off. I think I was like 12 years
Ooh.
old. However, I mean that game was what, 2007, 17 years ago. Yeah, I was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Not a huge upset in terms of the spread, but I think the Statue of Liberty, kind of sealing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's bigger point spread football upsets, but in terms of wow upsets, like the wow factor, clearly the Vegas books thought it'd be closer, but I think America was blown away at how that game unfolded and what happened.
Gotcha. Okay, number 4 for me, another one that I was not
Yeah.
alive for, but again, one that you talk about the greatest upsets and across any sport, it's got to be up there. It's got to be included in there, especially growing up, hearing about Mike Tyson, watching Mike Tyson. You would have thought the guy had never lost in his entire life. And Buster Douglas what was that? It was in Tokyo, right? As a 42-1 underdog. We can talk about the aura of what an upset has in a certain game. Like you said, the Statue of Liberty was a where were you kind of moment. But not only was that a where were you kind of moment, in the context of how big of a surprise it was, 42-1. Can you imagine betting on that in this day and age, saying when everybody and their mother is saying there's absolutely no shot Mike loses. He hasn't lost in how long, right? I mean, I don't even know what his record was going into that fight. He had maybe lost one time, but the way he was just pulverizing opponents left and right, knockout in the first round, knockout in the third round, knockout in the fourth round. Mike Tyson wasn't supposed to ever lose that match, and Buster Douglas not only beats him, knocks his ass out, left him flat on his back in Tokyo, 42-1. For me, that's a where were you kind of moment growing up, hearing your parents talk about it. Again, same thing with TV, and just the context of how that was never supposed to happen, and it did.
I love it. Number 3 for me, UMBC, Virginia, March Madness, the first ever time a 16 beat a 1. I was at a bar, Islip, New York, went out for my buddy's birthday, that was the end of the Friday. So we had the Thursday, the first day of the tournament, then it was Friday. We got to Friday night, and I got to be honest, by Friday night, I'm a little tournamented out, right? We've watched a million basketball games. All right, I'm going to get away. I'll go out. The game will be on in the background. I could not believe how roped in I got to the end of it. Now I don't think people talk about UMBC, Virginia, because there's been other big upsets in college basketball since, but seeing that for a first time was incredible. And I think it also gets hurt by the style of play. Virginia, obviously under Tony Bennett, was always known for the defensive style, that it didn't feel as sexy. Virginia wasn't a sexy 1 seed. They did come back and win the national championship the next year. But come on, the first time we saw 16 versus 1, we were so ingrained in the only thing you'll never see in March Madness is a 16 versus a 1. Bet your 12-5s, even your 15-2s, whatever. And that was an incredible, incredible Friday night.
Yeah, so here is again where I saw this, and I'm going to raise you one because it was the first one, but let's not again, we've seen Tony Bennett's Virginia teams now go out in the first round or the second round. Now, they won the national championship the year after this, so they made up for it. They recouped it. But watching the way that they play basketball, where it's 51-45 type games, it's all about defense. They have an off shooting night. It was bound to happen. That was the first one. Shawnee, I'm going to raise you one here. FDU over Purdue, 23.5-point dogs, the second and only ever 16 seed to beat a 1 seed. They join the ranks with UMBC. That was an FDU team, by the way. Plays in the MAC, the AA MAC, not just the regular MAC, not MACtion, the AA MAC, which is pretty fitting because it's the minor league conference compared to the actual MAC. Right. FDU was losing to teams like Niagara, who, by the way, I think won maybe 8 games all year. Losing to teams like that, basically 500 type of team all season long. They get hot. They win their conference tournament. Nobody gave them a chance, not especially with Zach Edey. Purdue, they were the number 1 overall seed, or they were absolutely, obviously a 1 seed. I think they were the number 1 overall seed. And just FDU's lack of size and the couple of their starting guards, I believe one was 5'10", the other one was 6'2", and they cooked them. They cooked them. They came in, David versus Goliath. They were slinging rocks left and right, and Purdue had absolutely zero answer. So I think that one's better than UMBC over Virginia.
Not wrong. It is obviously hurt by not being the first. And perfect example of that, everybody remembers American Pharaoh winning the Triple Crown for the first time. Remember, we thought that would never happen again. Somebody won the next year or the year after, or some horse. And I always forget that horse's name because it was not important anymore. All right, we're going to finish off those rankings. Plus, the WNBA had an all-star game last night, and if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a noise? It's BetQL's 5-star weekend presented by BetMGM.
Our weekend will be back on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Same odds. Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
Weekend on the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Doing? How's everybody doing? It's BetQL's 5-star weekend. Look, if you're on your way to work and want to keep listening to us even after you park the car with the Odyssey app and Odyssey.com, you can just download the app or visit Odyssey.com, search BetQL, and click on our show. Favorite us to make it even easier for you. Download the Odyssey app today to get started. All right, Team USA nearly loses to South Sudan yesterday in an exhibition. Both me and Patty agreed off the top of the show. If you did not bet against Team USA yesterday, don't fall into the trap and get suckered in now to bet against them. That's the wake-up call. They are going to roll to a gold. But even had they lost yesterday, would it even have ranked up there with one of the most incredible upsets, most memorable upsets? Well, I don't think so, and neither does Pat. And we've been going through a list of our most memorable upsets. I had Giants-Packers 2011 divisional round, the 15-1 Pack go down at Lambeau. The Fiesta Bowl of 2007, Boise State upsetting Oklahoma with the Statue of Liberty. And, of course, the first 16 versus 1, UMBC versus Virginia. Patty gave you Super Bowl III, the Namath guarantee over the Colts. The Buster Douglas knockout of Mike Tyson, 42-1 underdog. And the Dick versus the Do, FDU and Purdue, the second 16 seed to beat a 1. They were 23.5-point underdogs, which leads us to our number 2. And your iPad? It looks like you're laughing a little. You okay?
Yeah, the Dick versus the Do. That's the first time I've ever heard it be described as that. Is that going to be a Sean 30 for 30 special?
Well, that's the way people remember that game.
I would disagree in terms of labeling it like that, but go off, King.
They fairly do remember it that way.
Ooh, that's better.
Yeah, made the Boilermakers purr and get their due. All right, number 2 for me. The Miracle on Ice. The only one I was not alive for on my list, full disclosure, I did not include Super Bowl III, which I agree is probably a bad job. How many times did I need to be told about the Miracle on Ice growing up? You remember, 7 years before you were born. USA, Russia, USA, Russia. And of course, I think the most incredible part of this, the part I will tip my cap and go, this is amazing. When you think about, I mean, look, it's 9:44 a.m. Eastern. I'm watching people hit golf balls in Scotland live right now. The fact that this game was on tape delay and not on live, and the upset happened with Al Michaels saying, "Do you believe in miracles?" and it was not on live. You had to see that on tape delay. Now, we know in this day and age with TV, internet, all of that, it would not happen. But that is incredible to have an upset exist where people start to get murmurs and words about it up in Lake Placid because it happened in this country. Think about it. Happened in this country and was not shown live on TV. And have to watch on a tape delay is insane for an upset, Pat.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't watch the game live because where was that game again? Where was that game?
Lake Placid.
And they still had it on tape delay?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bad job. That is a bad job.
You
but
didn't
you're
know
right.
that part of the story?
I now that you say it, I do remember that it was on tape delay, but I thought it was in a different country. I didn't know it was in our own country, and
Yes.
we beat them, and you couldn't even watch it live. I mean, again, TV, totally different thing back in the 80s, but right in the early 80s, I get kind of overrated, right? The whole thing's kind of overrated. I know the Soviets had won like 8 out of the last 9 gold medals, so. But like when I look back, when again, U.S. men's basketball losing to Argentina, like you look at that team, like that wasn't a super dominant team that was never supposed to lose. It was just because it was the brand. It was U.S. men's basketball team. So I mean, was the upset even that good? Like were we that giant of underdogs, or was it just because the Soviets had not, basically they won every gold medal for the last 30 years, and it was because it was the Cold War.
They cleaned the USA's clocks at Madison Square Garden a couple weeks earlier in an exhibition.
But it was our college team, wasn't it? Wasn't it a bunch of college guys for the most part? It wasn't the actual team?
Dude, Team USA in 1980 was not professionals. They became professionals after. It was all amateurs.
Oh, so it was the same team that they beat at MSG 10-3. Okay.
Man, you really are unfamiliar with this, huh? You're very
unfamiliar because all I hear, the Miracle on Ice. Do you believe in miracles? And nobody really ever actually talks about the game.
No. It was Russia's pros from the KHL. Remember, like the NHL, some of them were here, but it wasn't like it is now in 1980. Russia's pros versus USA's amateurs.
Whatever.
Does it do it for you? You never watched the movie?
Nope.
Patty.
Let's be honest.
I'm sorry.
If
After
it's not
beating Purdue is not as big a deal.
If it's not for the Cold War and the arms race and all that stuff, nobody even cares about it.
I'm gonna protect yourself from yourself. I'm gonna allow you to go on to number 2. I'm just gonna let you know you have a bad take here. That's all I'm telling you.
Okay. All right. Well, I got a better upset.
I've been where you are. So I'm just gonna let everybody know I've been where Pat is, where you realize you're and you're wrong on a take, but instead of just admitting you're wrong, you know what? I'm already here. I might as well fight my way out of it. And that's what Pat's doing. And I respect it because I've been there.
I'm not wrong. If it's not for the Cold War, nobody cares about the Miracle on Ice. If it's not for Al Michaels, who, like you said, you couldn't even watch the game live. If it's not for Al Michaels, the signature call, do you believe in miracles? Like if he didn't say that, if he just would have said, this is a big upset. This is a big upset here. It doesn't even go down in lore. If not, Dan Turner. If not for history, no one cares. It's not that historic. It's not that historic.
If not for history, nobody cares about anything.
Well, I didn't see it, and you couldn't even see it live if you were alive that time. And if not for Cold War, like I said, if we're not battling the Soviets to get to the moon and to build the nukes and to do whatever we else were doing in 1980, nobody cares that our team beat them. If we had beat France, if we beat France in the final, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But no, we beat the Soviets. So, oh my God, how do we pump this up to rejuvenate a country here in the middle of an arms race and the battle to the moon, which by the way was probably way before that, right? When did what's his name, Buzz Aldrin, get on the moon? 1969.
Fly me to the moon. Boom,
was it Buzz or was it Neil? Who was first?
Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, or Spike Aldrin. I always get this wrong.
Spike. That's our old boss. It's Buzz Aldrin.
All right. But
I
I don't
think
even
the-
know what we're talking about anymore.
Let me move on to number 2 here. Let me go to number 2 because
Okay.
it's a better upset and it's a game that if you could actually watch live and you saw the highlights over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. App State beating Michigan at the Big House in 2007. Believe it was the
Good
first
game.
game. Believe it was the first game of the year for both teams. Michigan
New.
came in number 5. You know what the point spread on that one, Shawnee, was?
I think in the 30s.
33 and a half points.
Yeah, I remember.
Michigan,
Remember it well.
number 5 in the country. App State, little FCS team, but basically a bye game, right? For Michigan, blow them out by 30, 40 points. Move on. Michigan, one of the top teams in the country. And App State, not only do they get
This was
out
a
to
Brady
big...
Hoke Michigan team. I'm trying to remember this. I know this is way pre-Harbaugh. Was it Brady Hoke?
No, Lloyd Carr was the coach.
Lloyd Carr. Okay.
Lloyd Carr was the
Yeah,
coach
how
of this
memorable
team.
is nobody remembers who the coach was.
Now, App State goes on to finish this season 13-2. So it wasn't just like, this little cupcake school, but that's how they were viewed at the time. And they build a pretty big lead to start the game, 28-17 at half. Michigan fights back 32-31. You're thinking, all right, the game's over. App State drives down the field, kicks a short field goal with 26 seconds left. But then Michigan races down the field. They think in 1 or 2 plays, they've got a game-winning field goal. You think it's going to be over. And this play is burned into my memory forever. Watching it live, watching the highlights on SportsCenter for like a week straight. It made the cover of Sports Illustrated. They blocked the game-winning field goal attempt, and they win the game. App State beats Michigan 33.5-point dogs in front of 110,000 sad Michigan fans. Oh, no, the big house, the big sad house. To me, that's a game I will never, ever forget. Those images right here forever.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Great game. First game in the Big Ten Network. Good call by producer Dan. Nah, it is a fun game. I love any college football upset. I wrote myself into. I love it. I absolutely love it. By the way, we're only a couple weeks away. Get me there. Oh, baby. Clemson, Georgia at noon that first Saturday, Labor Day weekend. Oh, yeah.
Notre Dame
Tua.
at Kyle Field, the 12th man, going to be 12 babies. By
the way, I am all over the Irish in week 1. All
Riley
over
Leonard,
the Irish
baby.
in week 1. The Irish will take care of business in week 1. That'll be a big time. That'll be a chips in the center of the table bet for me week 1. Big time. I'm on the Irish week 1. All right. Save that for a hot take or hot cake. All right. Number 1. It looks like we both have it. Super Bowl 42, 12.5-point dogs. Full disclosure, I am a Giant fan. I am a homer. Off of the famous Week 17 closing out of the year where the Patriots finished their undefeated season at the Meadowlands versus the Giants. The way the Giants went toe-to-toe, I did believe the Giants were going to win this game. I did, but that could be blind faith, but it also was off of that. They gave the Patriots their best look. It is hard to go undefeated, but still, everything about it. The Tyree play, the missed opportunities, the defensive struggle that was. I mean, the game is basically 7-3 at the half. People forget David Tyree caught a touchdown in this game as well. The game had it all, including, 42 seconds. We still didn't think the game was over because the Patriots had Tom Brady and Randy Moss. Jay Olford with the sack of his lifetime. Nobody remembered him ever since. Unbelievable game, Pat.
Yeah, indisputable. I'm not even, you basically laid it all out there. 12.5-point favorites, 18-0. I don't think, again, you said you had blind faith because you were a Giants fan, but I can't imagine anybody actually thinking that the Giants could win that game if you're not a Giants fan. The Patriots decimated every team in their path. Brady and Randy Moss were rewriting the record books. They were stacked defensively. They were great offensively. And Eli Manning just went in there and slayed Goliath. And then they did it again a couple of years later. But to knock off the unbeaten Patriots, who were about to pop the champagne with the Miami Dolphins of the other undefeated team, what was it, whatever the hell the team was in the 70s,
yeah.
You get the point. Massive upset. To me, the greatest upset ever.
All right. I agree. With that, real quickly, speaking of upsets, Team USA last night on the women's side loses the WNBA All-Star game to Team WNBA, the non-All-Stars. Caitlin Clark only scores 4 points in this game. Obviously, give the dude Agunbwale, right? That's how you say her name. Arika Agunbwale, the former Notre Dame star.
Agunbwale.
I'm probably screwing that up. Agunbwale? Agunbwale. She scores 34 points. I wanted to get into this game last night. I flipped it on. I came home from the movies. It didn't do it for me, man. It didn't do it for me. I think they soured the Olympic thing, soured me by not including Caitlin Clark. I'm still annoyed by it. And then Caitlin Clark annoyed me. Can you participate in the 3-point contest on Friday night? If you're going to play in the game, I don't want to hear that you're tired. You're about to you're not going to be playing during the Olympics. Caitlin Clark, we've all had you back. Participate in the 3-point contest. She did a bad job for women's basketball this week. I'm sorry. That's Uncle Shawnee's thoughts. We come back, more hot takes and more hot cakes. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network. With Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network. With Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning with Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot cakes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. Hour number 2 of the program. We started off, we've done a lot on sports upsets and what we nearly saw from Team USA versus South Sudan, but now we really open up here. We have a little fun. Football training camps open. Everybody will be practicing by the end of this week in full. The Texans and Bears are 11, 10 days away from playing in a Hall of Fame game. Those two teams are already fully entrenched in training camp, which does suck. If you get picked for the Hall of Fame game, suddenly, you're screwed. Right? You have to punt on a week more of your summer. That probably stinks. That absolutely stinks. But we will have fun with that. Dingback comes up at the end of this hour. We'll give you some baseball, home run, prop bets, and so on and so forth. I'm also in the middle of scrolling because I have a hot take I'm about to give you off a stat I saw yesterday. Then now suddenly I'm missing. So without further ado, I'm going to let Pat go first. It's hot takes and hot cakes.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
Yeah, Shawnee, I mean, if you've listened to our program every Sunday morning, and in case you miss it or in case you're just joining us and you missed the first hour, Odyssey app, use the rewind function, search BetQL, you'll see BetQL 5-Star Weekend. And if you've listened past Sundays or you've heard me on any other program here across the great BetQL network, I think you know where I stand on the Chicago Bears. I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be particularly good. I think he's going to be a bust. I think there is way too much hype on a team that, yes, they did finish the year strong last year, and I hope Justin Fields gets a chance with Pittsburgh. I think it's only a matter of time before Russell Wilson gets benched. But a Bears team that started off 2-7, finished the year 7-10, and now their win total is 8.5 just because they added Keenan Allen and because they drafted Roma Dunze and Ryan Poles continues to build a pretty nice defense with this team. Well, again, you have seen in the NFL, if you don't have it at the quarterback position, you're not going to win many football games. And let's also realize that the NFC North is stacked this year, right? I mean, you've got the Detroit Lions, who are one of these Super Bowl favorites. Yeah. You've got the Green Bay Packers, who took a huge step forward last year with Jordan Love, and they're supposed to be a playoff team. And then, again, I've kind of made my thoughts known on the Minnesota Vikings. I think they can be a wild card team this year. So I think the Bears are going to be the last place team in the NFC North. So when I look at their over-under win total for the year at 8.5, and I get plus money on under 8.5 wins, I am taking it. That is officially going to be one of my over-under plays for the year. Chicago Bears under 8.5 wins. And you look at the schedule too, right? I mean, it's a little soft in the beginning, so they have a kind of a soft landing spot. I'd almost wish for the Bears' sake that they maybe play a little bit tougher competition in the beginning, because then maybe they can get kind of the bad things out of the way. And then once they get things flowing, once Caleb Williams kind of gets it going with Shane Waldron, if he gets it going, then they can kind of beat some of the bad, poor teams. But they play the Tennessee Titans week 1 at home. That is not a guaranteed win. They're probably going to be favorites. I don't know if the spread is already out for that game, but they are going to be favorites in that game, I would guess. And I just don't know if that is, like, I'd rather them play the Houston Texans on the road in week 1 rather than week 2 on Sunday night. So if they don't win week 1 against Tennessee, then you got to go up against C.J. Stroud and the Texans on Sunday Night Football in week 2. Then you're at the Colts, which, again, Anthony Richardson looked pretty damn good in his first couple of games last year. And then the Rams at home, Carolina Panthers at home, they're going to have to win. You absolutely have to win that game. Jaguars in London, which is always a tough spot to play, especially for a rookie QB. Coming off the bye week, you would think, okay, they play these teams at home, those could be wins, but they're at Washington, at Arizona. Versus the Patriots at home, again, that's a game they absolutely have to win. None of these division games for them are a lock to win. And again, they're going to be underdogs in at least 4 out of the 6 of them. The Packers twice, the Vikings twice, the Lions twice. They play the Niners on the road, and then they finish the year against the Seattle Seahawks at home on Thursday Night Football and at Green Bay. To me, I look at this Bears team, and I know that I've kind of, underrated Caleb Williams, and I don't think very highly of them. But, I only see 3, at most 4 games where I'm like, yeah, the Bears should win that game. Unless there's an upset, they should win the game. They should take care of business. So then to kind of project them for another 5 wins on top of that, I just don't see it, man. And again, if Caleb Williams turns out to be the next Patrick Mahomes, I'll be the first one to say, I was wrong. Go ahead. Get your clicks on me. Get your takes on me. Clown me. Laugh at me. Go ahead. Have at it. But until I see that, and I think that he's not going to be very good. I think he has been hyped up as the next Patrick Mahomes because the Bears missed on Patrick Mahomes a couple of years ago, and they didn't want to miss on the next Patrick Mahomes here. I think the offensive line still has way too many question marks. I think it's just too fair to assume that Roma Dunze is going to be a stud, that DJ Moore is going to pick right up where he left off and have that immediate chemistry with Caleb Williams. So Bears under 8.5 wins at plus money, to me, that is too good to pass up.
I like that play, Pat. I'm in lockstep with you. I have to see it from Caleb Williams before I believe it. Too much of the not meeting the media stuff and everything scares me away. And there's a couple teams you rattled off there, which is interesting to me. Whenever you're trying to make a case for a bad team or a team that you're very questionable on the over, 2 things come into play. I need to ask you about the head coach first. Matt Eberflus still a head coach? Do we have any idea if he can coach football outside of the defensive schemes? And that's going to be a head coach of a team with a rookie quarterback of this kind of hype? Don't trust it. A good chance Eberflus could be out at the end of the year, and then they're just redoing this whole thing. Number 2, you rattle off all those teams. The Carolina Panthers, the Tennessee Titans. I don't know if people are aware of this. The Carolina Panthers are going to win a few football games this year. All right? The Tennessee Titans are going to win a few football games. You can't just assume that every one of those games, hey, they got to win that game. They got to win that game. The Panthers are going to get a couple. The Titans are going to get a couple. Matter of fact, I think the Titans could be better than people think, by the way. I saw Will Levis pumping his chest out this week. They added some pieces. I know they lost Derrick Henry. They lost Mike Vrabel. I think they could be a sneaky pain in the ass for teams this year. But even Carolina, who I'm not a big believer in Bryce Young. I wasn't a big believer in him coming out. That's still a team that probably wins 4 or 5. They're going to win 4 or 5 games, and the teams they beat are going to go, oh, my God, we should have won those games. Those are missed opportunities. So you think the Carolina Panthers and Tennessee Titans are viewing the Bears as losses for them? No, they're viewing them as wins too. So I say that to back up your point, Pat. To get to 9 wins, you're also talking about teams on their schedule that are going to view the Bears as that game they have to have. So I'm totally on board. And, oh, by the way, you're talking about 8.5. 8-9 is a pretty good season for the Chicago Bears with first-year Caleb Williams, and you still hit the under. So for all of those reasons, I'm completely on board. It will be one of my underplays as well.
All right, by the way, Shawnee, you and I believe we've got Kenny, brother of Gunnar Henderson, working our mothership back in Chicago here today. He's a big Bears fan. The Bears are 4.5-point favorites. That's the opening line for week 1. 4.5-point favorites. Titans are plus 180 on the money line.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about Pat. We've never had this discussion because we discuss enough sports. I'm intrigued. The word I would use, I'm intrigued by Will Levis. I thought there were moments last year when he had this opportunity on a team that is led by Mike Vrabel. It's all about running and defense. And I like Mike Vrabel, the coach, but let's be honest, they weren't revolutionary offensively. There were times I watched Will Levis play. I'm like, all right, he's got a little something here as a rookie. He can sling the ball. I don't know what his ceiling is, but now bringing in an offensive mind like Brian Callahan, who worked with Joe Burrow a little bit, I like the upside on the Titans' passing offense. And, frankly, they added Tony Pollard, right? That's the running back they added. And they got Calvin Ridley to go with still DeAndre Hopkins. I think that team's going to throw it a little bit. 4.5-point dogs in week 1? What are we talking about here? People think the Titans are going to be that awful. They're going to lose to a rookie quarterback in week 1 and Matt Eberflus? Matt Eberflus and a quarterback who's never taken a spot in the NFL should be 4.5-point favorites versus nobody. Nobody. What are we talking about?
And the Titans beefed up that secondary, which was an absolute pathetic joke last year. They got L'Jarius Sneed from the Chiefs. They've got Amani Hooker coming back. Remember they traded away Christian Fulton. They added Roger McCreary as their slot cornerback and Chidobe Awuzie on the other side. So, yeah, I agree with you, man. This ain't going to be a team that rolls in and gets pummeled every week and finishes 4-13. I think they're going to be a little bit better than that. I'm not saying by any stretch that they're going to be a playoff team, but I mean, we saw plenty of flashes.
They will be a hard. I think the word is hard out. They will be a hard out every single.
They're going to be what's the word? They're going to be fill in the blank. The Titans are going to be
what
chippy.
The record you're talking about?
No, the Titans are going to be chippy.
Yeah. The
Titans are going to be gritty.
The Titans will be the team. How about you know what you want a hot take here? The Titans will be the team that frustrate NFL side gamblers the most this year. They will be the team that we can't quite figure out favorite or underdog on point spreads that will frustrate the hell. People will lose money betting against the Titans this year, and then they will be that same team that when you're feeling them a little bit, you will absolutely lose money betting on the Titans this year. So that is the way I view them. The pain in the rump. They might be the stay-away team of 2024 in all NFL bets.
I got the word I was looking for, and it's the one that Big Cat uses all the time. I could not think of it. Frisky. Titans are going to be frisky.
Frisky. Yeah, they will be. They will be. All right, my hot take and hot cake, ironically with the Titans, goes to the AFC South. Texans have been a big point of discussion here, clearly. They have started training camp, and yesterday, everybody was massaging the undercarriage of the Stephon Diggs, C.J. Stroud connection. I did not realize this because I sour on Stephon Diggs pretty quickly. I hated the image I will never get out of my mind pre-Buffalo Bills Stephon Diggs is him, I'll just say it, bitching and moaning at Kirk Cousins in a playoff game that they were winning about not getting the ball. And that told me all I need to know about Stephon Diggs. Your team's winning a playoff game. Can we calm down, be the decoy, whatever. So I'm not a big Diggs guy. If I had my preference, I would like him not on my football team. But I have to respect this. In 2018, in his first year with Kirk Cousins, he had a career-high 102 catches. In his first year with Josh Allen, 2020, he had 127 catches and 1,500 yards. This will now be his first year with star quarterback C.J. Stroud. And yesterday, C.J. Stroud and Stephon Diggs were making Texan beat reporters drool. Nico Collins, Tank Dell on this team, plenty of weapons, Dalton Schultz, etc. It's almost like because Diggs got exiled away from Buffalo, we assume, well, the Texans are already loaded at receiver, Diggs, whatever. No. I think you are going to get, at least early in the season, undervalued props on Stephon Diggs every single week because of the litany of receivers that the Texans have. And if he has that kind of connection, remember, he wears on quarterbacks after a while. He won't wear on C.J. Stroud, a young quarterback, early. And I think Stroud is going to hit with Diggs a lot. I am just giving you this fair warning on July 21st. You could hit him for preseason overs if you want, catches, yards, all of that. But game to game, week to week, be very, very on top of betting overs on Stephon Diggs props. Pat Boyle, that's my hot cake a preview for a hot cake, let's call it, here for hour number 2.
So you said be wary, but you're
no,
I
meant take them. Well, be wary on how low the numbers are because you should be betting those overs. Okay.
Yeah,
Fair
I mean,
enough?
Stephon Diggs, for the most part in Buffalo, and even like you said, going back to Minnesota, I feel like if I had to guess the average, his over receiving yards per game is probably low 80s, right? Usually.
But remember last year, the whole year, bettors on props on Stephon Diggs were frustrated, including obviously their playoff elimination. It's like, are we going to throw the guy the ball at all? And it killed people. It killed the betting market. And people, I think, will remember that and be sour on Diggs early this year. And I think, no, the reverse. I think his first year in Houston will be very productive.
Yeah, because he had a stretch last year. He had, let's see, 5 out of the first 7 games. Actually, even more than that. 6 out of 8, 7 out of the first 9 games. He eclipsed 90 yards. And 5 of those eclipsed 100 yards. And he had 7 touchdowns through week 10. So through 8 games. And then here, I'm just going to rattle you off the yardage for Stephon Diggs to finish the year after that from week 11 on. 48, 77, 92, 37, 60, 26, 104. And then 114 in the wild card game against Miami, and then 35 in the divisional game against Cincinnati. That was actually 2022, excuse me. But 2023 was basically just as bad. He didn't get triple-digit yardage from week 7 on.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. The ESPN has put out a poll. They're doing this for every position, scouts, et cetera, on what they think of the running backs this year. We'll get to that throughout the show as well. I wanted to touch on it here. We are going to play a little Snakes on the Brain. We do this every week now at 10:20. We're leading up to your fantasy football drafts. Fantasy football is gambling, folks. And we're going to hit you with the defenses. The least sexy end of your draft picks are the defenses. But we're going to draft them. What defenses we think will be the best and shine in fantasy football this year. I'm Sean Morash. He's Pat Boyle. We continue to trug along here next. Also, more thoughts on top of defenses. Shaq Barrett left the Miami Dolphins now and abruptly retired. That was a pretty big signing for them as well. Will they make the cut on our fantasy football defenses that we draft? It's Pat Boyle. It's Sean Morash. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. On the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. We're going to do a little Snakes on the Brain coming up, but Patty Boyle has a market correction on our segment prior. Pat.
Yes. Hi, Sean. Welcome back. Just right before the break, we were talking about Stephon Diggs. You're going to be betting a lot on his overs week to week, the futures, basically any and all props this year that you can get your hands on. And I was clarifying Stephon Diggs' numbers from last year, and I was mistakenly reading off 2022 in the beginning. 2023 is actually, it's even worse, especially considering the way he started the year in Buffalo and then the way that he finished the year. Like you said, bettors were frustrated with Stephon Diggs all year long. So here you go, just to clarify the statement I made last segment. Weeks 1 through 6, first 5 out of 6 games, Stephon Diggs went over the 100-yard receiving mark, and he had 5 touchdowns in the first 6 weeks. Here is how Stephon Diggs finished the season from week 7 on. 58 yards, 70, 86, 34, 27, 74, 24, 48, 29, 26, 87, 52 in the division game against Pittsburgh, in the wild card round, I should say. And then in the divisional round against Kansas City, 3 catches, 21 yards. So we were saying most of his yardage props were in the 80s and then even in the high 70s, I think, towards the end of the year when the market corrected. But this year, if you look, I'm looking at Betting Pros, and they've got the BetMGM line, so I'm sure you could probably find this for Week 1, Texans at the Colts. Stephon Diggs over under yardage 61.5. So yeah, they are setting that low when you consider that you got Nico Collins, who had a big year last year, Tank Dell, who was having a monster year before he got hurt, Dalton Schultz, who had a nice year at tight end. And, of course, they added Joe Mixon to that running back room. And they've also got, guys like Robert Woods, Noah Brown, hopefully, who don't have to factor too much into that offense. But, yeah, I mean, basically 20 yards lower than what you probably found Stephon Diggs at for most of last season.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So We've done tight ends. We've done wide receivers. Fantasy football drafts are coming, right? I mean, if you're in a group chat with buddies, family, friends, or whatever, I guarantee you have either already set the date or you are all bickering as listeners right now because your brother-in-law has a lube appointment on August 23rd and it's screwing up whether everybody's going to get together. Or somebody decided to take a quick vacation because their wife's making them, and now it's messing up your Labor Day draft plans.
Lube
We all know what we're
appointment.
talking about. I don't
What
know
is
where
that
I
even?
was going.
I don't
know.
either. What kind of appointments are you going on?
Look. What do you want me to say? Dentist? I don't know.
Anything but a lube appointment.
I don't know what I meant, man. I was just going through things. I was just trying to throw it out there. What do you want?
Evan,
I have no.
thank God you brought that lube.
Bottom line is, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody's arguing about finding that perfect date. I guess we're going to have to do online this year. We can't get together at the Hooters and eat 74 wings together. But as you prep, we've taken care of wide receivers so far. We've taken care of tight ends each of the last couple of weeks. And this is a good way to have a little discussion about where we view these teams in fantasy. This is a little less sexy this week, I'm going to admit. The next couple of weeks are going to feature your quarterbacks and your running backs as we march into August. This is a little less sexy. We're going to talk about the defenses here. And to me, defenses should always be drafted at the very last round or the second to last round, depending if you draft kickers or not. We all know that. Don't think that the value is there to jump up and go, I need the best fantasy defense. I'm going to get smart here, take them at 13 before I fill out my bench. No. Always fill out your bench first. Those quality pieces at wide receiver, the depth there, wide receiver, running back will always be more important. And why do I say that? Well, the truth is, we all draft fantasy defenses, but do we really think about what matters in terms of a fantasy defense and providing you those upswings? The right stroke of luck on a defense can win you a week or can eventually in the playoffs win you a championship because you have those crazy weeks where suddenly the defense is pumping out, 20, 30 points. You're like, what the heck happened? What matters is sacks. What matters is interceptions. Or ultimately, if you get a pick six out of that could change your whole week with having a fantasy defense. So keep that in mind when thinking about what fantasy defenses to target. And ultimately, a lot of it is truly luck. I'm going to level with you. So you take the Dallas Cowboys last year, for instance. We all know Micah Parsons is a sack machine. But when you get, I already forgot the corner's name that had all the pick sixes.
Deron Bland.
And on. Deron Bland. Nobody thought Deron Bland was going to have all of these touchdowns last year, but if you had Dallas's defense, guess what? You absolutely reap the benefits of that. So, look, depending on your league, not all leagues are created equal, what they value in defense, a lot of it is purely luck. But without further ado, we are going to draft what we view as the top defenses here in fantasy and those that you should be targeting in the later rounds. And then we'll go back to the sexy stuff, which is quarterbacks and running backs. So let's play with me, Patty, and Amir. Our little snakes on the brain. Wait,
I don't think we have imaging for this.
Get those snakes off the mother bleeping plane. All right, that was the imaging in past years. I forget what we have in imaging. Well, I'm just gonna level with you guys. I'm lost, okay, as a host, and that I think is part of the charm of this show. If we're being honest with you, Pat, me, and Amir now will play our favorite game to. I'm such a jerk to get the first pick here, and that is rock, paper, scissors. All right, you guys ready? For the radio audience, just know that this is for the Twitch audience right now. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. I have thrown out a scissor. Amir has thrown out a scissor, and Pat has thrown out a rock. Pat will get the first pick in the draft. Amir, let's go for me and you. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. We both threw out scissors. We tried to get cute back-to-back times. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. We both threw out scissors for the
I knew that was coming.
You know what, Amir? You're going to go second. Pat will go first. Amir has scissored his way into the second spot, and I'll take that third wraparound snakes on a brain spot. All right, let's draft some defenses, boys. What are we going, 3 each, 5 each? I forget how we do this. 5 rounds. All right,
I think
Pat,
we did 5. We've been doing 5.
Okay.
By the
All
way,
right,
I want to mention that our chat that's going on right now, our behind the scenes chat. Kenny and Dan Turner saying they play a fantasy football league with no defense, no kicker. That is bizarre. That's bizarro world.
Stupid.
I
So you're
agree. I think
overthinking it.
that's part of the beauty. When you can beat teams because you have a great defense. You knew which matchup you picked up.
Of course.
Whoever's playing the Carolina Panthers last year, and you
know
kind
what
of
you've
structure
become?
that way.
If you're in a league like that, you know what you've become a fantasy football? You've actually become too serious. Maybe your nominal amount actually becomes so much that I have a group of friends who are in a fantasy league, not like this. They still have the defenses and kickers, but the way they've tweaked some of the rules and they explain it, I'm not going to get into it, but they think they have the best fantasy league in the world. You don't have the best fantasy league in the world. What happened is you all pay now like $500 of a league fee. You've gone way too crazy and you're trying to protect against getting screwed. Part of the joy of fantasy football is whoever loses, like screw jobs happen. Like, don't lose the beauty of fantasy football. And also, it's fantasy football. You're supposed to cover all positions because it's like building a football roster. That is the essence of fantasy football. You have gone way too far and above if you're not having kickers and defenses, and that's not fantasy football anymore. So, and yes, you know what? A matter of fact, Dan puts on, you don't play with O-line, do you? I'd love for us to draft O-lines and pancakes be a stat. I actually think that should be a thing in fantasy football. So, boom, screw you, pal. All right. And sacks allowed, by the way, you get minus points if you're an offensive line. I figured out fantasy football for you. Pat, go ahead. Pick first.
Bang. All right. Yeah. Number one for me. I know they lost some pieces. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens, right? And I know that they lost their defensive coordinator as well, who's now the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. But I am still rolling with the Baltimore Ravens here because last year, you take a look, number one in sacks with 60 sacks. Actually tied with your New York Giants, Shawnee. I forgot that. The most takeaways in football last year, the Ravens and the Giants, they both had 31. So they had the most turnovers. They had the most sacks. They still have a Ravens defensive line that includes Justin Madubuike. They still have Kyle Van Noy and Roquan Smith and Odafe Owe. And not to mention that secondary, which has the best safety on planet Earth right now, Kyle Hamilton, the pride of Notre Dame. I'm taking the Ravens number one. There might be a little bit of regression, but to me, they're still worth being the number one defense in football because they get to play the Steelers twice a year. And say what you will about how good the Browns should be with Deshaun Watson. I feel like this Ravens defense always finds a way to turn over the Browns and sack the Browns, plus the rest of their schedule they have. I still think even if they're not number one in terms of yardage allowed, they will still come up with the big-time plays, the point-accumulating plays. I'm taking the Ravens number one.
Okay. It's also worth noting here, I didn't highlight this. Remember, folks, this year, another reason you should be drafting defenses or be playing with them, it's defense and special teams. And the kickoff rule has changed in the NFL, which means we might actually get some kick returns for touchdowns back as well, which will help your cause. But anyway, go on. Amir, it's up to you. Yeah.
Carlson, and they were just racking up points for me. I won the league
Now,
championship.
Amir, our visual audience. Okay, go on. Never mind. Now everybody can hear you. Go on.
Are we good now?
Yeah. Sorry.
But no, yeah. So I'm not in a league anymore that has the defense, special teams, kickers anymore, but I definitely still appreciate it. I'm gonna just go ahead and keep it short and sweet. I think that one of the best, if not the best, defenses in the NFL when healthy as what the Browns have with Myles Garrett. I'm just gonna keep it nice and simple with them with the pressure they're going to be able to put on the quarterback and keep it short and sweet. So I'll take the Browns second.
All right, you take the Browns. Pat Dumley has already I already forgot the Ravens. You guys have given me the Niners on a silver platter. Here's a key to a good fantasy defense. If you completely shut down the run and force teams to have to throw on you, or you have a lead because your offense is unique and the teams are going to try to throw their way back, that leads to sacks, that leads to turnovers. That's why the Niners, to me, should have been the no-brainer number one team on that board. I'm all over it. And then my wraparound pick, does TJ Watt still play football for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is he still a sack machine? Or do you trust Mike Tomlin with the new kickoff rules? We've heard rumors Justin Fields might be back there, and they've got Cordell Patterson back there now as well. I think the Steelers are real juicy defense special teams. Give me the Niners and the Steelers on the go-around.
Okay. I knew Sean wasn't going to take the Jets defense, so I will. Say what you will, make all the jokes you will about the Jets offense and head coach Robert Saleh, but that defense is a top 5 defense in terms of yards allowed, points allowed, basically for the last 2 years. They've only gotten better. They had 27 takeaways last year. That was, again, 4 shy off the Ravens and Giants mark for most in football. The Jets also had 48 sacks, which was top 10 in football. So they get the sacks, they get the turnovers. They limit teams in terms of scoring, which we know is important as well. Not so much as the sacks and the picks, but again, a Jets defense that returns all-pro corner Sauce Gardner, that also has DJ Reed on the other side. Let's not forget how underrated DJ Reed was on the other side. So it's extremely tough to pass against that secondary. And then a pass rush that had Quinnen Williams, who had an unbelievable season, and they've traded for Hassan Reddick. They still got to sign him. He's a mandatory minicamp holdout, but I am expecting Hassan Reddick to play in a Jets uniform. So the sack number should even go higher for the Jets defense this year. They get to play the Patriots twice a year, who they broke the curse against last year, not being able to beat that team. So give me the Jets defense for my second pick.
Okay. And you have a wraparound here,
Ooh.
dummy.
I do have a wraparound. You know what? Steve Spagnuolo never gets enough credit. I'm giving Stevie Spags the credit here. Give me the Chiefs defense, second in sacks last year. Didn't get as much turnovers as I would like. I think the Chiefs only generated 17 turnovers, so that was an issue, right? But they found a way to consistently hold teams under 20 points, winning games in which the offense struggled for the first 13 weeks of last season. This defense has one of the best pass rusher on the inside and on the planet, Chris Jones. I still don't think there's anybody better than him right now for coming from the inside. So the secondary, they lose L'Jarius Sneed. They might take a bit of a hit, but it's Stevie Spags. Give me the Chiefs as my third pick.
All right, Amir. By the way, we're only going to pick 3 because we're running out of time. So there you go. Amir, you're
Okay,
up. Your
sounds
final
good.
pick.
Let me see.
Wait, is
who
it your
we-
final?
Well, I have 2. We just skipped the snake format, I guess, today. I was second.
Right, you were.
I
you
think
were supposed to
and
pick.
then there's a
Did I
little bit, but I
skip
could
you?
just also just I could just
Now
pick
you
my
get a
last
snake.
2.
Yeah, pick your last.
Yeah,
two.
I was the second, but now I also get the snake.
You
I was supposed
ruined
to
it,
be the-
Sean.
The one who didn't
All right,
get
don't
the
put out
snake.
3
But,
scissors next time. Figure it out.
what I will do, Alex, we talked about the Cowboys earlier. We talked about the Micah Parsons pass rush. We talked about what their secondary is able to do as far as forcing turnovers. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the Cowboys on that front. And let me see. Where do we want to stay for this last one? You know what?
For a guy pumping his chest, not prepared.
I'm gonna go. Let's go with even with the loss of Shaq Barrett. I'm still gonna stick with the Miami Dolphins. They did a very good job for turnovers last season. I think they were 4th. I want to say in sacks last year. They had 56 sacks. They picked up 15 interceptions. We know they're going to fly around and be a very active team. Obviously, they lost a little bit of leadership, but I think they can continue to build on what they did last season with that. So I'll go ahead and, on the wraparound, get the Miami Dolphins.
My third and final pick, 2 words. Brian Flores. Added Van Ginkel. Minnesota Vikings, sneaky big defense this year, fantasy-wise. How about that? We'll be right back. Dingbat. Let's go.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Weekend. Only one more of these in July, by the way. Then you look up and it's Augustus Gloop month here. Then that's September, and then it's football, and then we all lose our bankrolls at BetMGM.
The great big greedy nincompoop. Oh, speak for yourself, Shawnee. Speak for yourself in terms of losing your bankroll. We're gonna have winning
It's
bets.
a joke.
Minimal
Call
sweats
me-
and the absolute
it's
very
called-
best of luck.
All right, way to kiss Nick Costos' ass. That was just me being relatable to the audience and making jokes and being Captain Haha. Oh, I like that. I should be called Captain Haha. Which makes me think. I remember Haha Clinton Dix coming out. Who did Kool-Aid McKinstry go to this year? Who did he get?
I think New Orleans.
Did it? Okay.
I'm
Well-
90% sure because I think I talked about him as a potential bet for defensive rookie of the year. And I'm pretty sure it's Kool-Aid McKinstry went to New Orleans and he's playing opposite of Paulson Adebo and Marshawn Lattimore. But if Lattimore gets hurt, Kool-Aid's got a chance to step in and start in the Big Easy. I hope I'm right. I hope everything I just said wasn't wrong here.
I do too. But you know what is big and easy? The
Wait.
segment Dingbat.
Kool-Aid
What?
McKinstry on the New Orleans Saints. Thank you, Patty. You're welcome, Sean. All right.
Wow, congrats for actually getting right where a player plays in the NFL, Pat. What a revolutionary idea. It is Dingbat. So last week, for those of you new listeners, viewers, we give out a home run prop bet, 3 home run prop bets a person, me, Patty Boyle. And let's bring up Kenny Gunnar Henderson here. Kenny Gunnar Henderson, who runs everything for us out of the Chicago office, the Chicago portion of Betql, I hope. He, last week, did not give you a single winner of his 3 bets. I gave you 2. Patty gave you 1, which meant we had a clear-cut loser of Dingbat last week. The man who is the Dingbat is Kenny Gunnar Henderson, who, again, is afraid to show his face on camera, twitch.tv/BetQL. Not going to – oh, there he is. There he is. Kenny, how does it feel in the break to go, hey, Sean, you kicked our ass. We didn't have a loser last week when you knew damn well you lost and you tried to get Pat napping. You tried to catch Pat in a break napping so you didn't have to admit you are the Dingbat this week. Do you have anything to say for your pathetic attitude?
I totally forgot. I didn't know Pat hit one. I must. Was that the Sunday Night Baseball? Oh no, there wasn't a Sunday Night Baseball game.
No, it was
last
actually
week,
he hit the home run by 11:45 in the morning. We were still in the air.
Okay.
But anyway,
That's probably why I missed it because I was working hard. So there we go.
Okay.
All right. So.
Oh, don't sell me I've been where you are, pal. We work hard. In quotation marks. Okay. Me and Pat have worked every job here. But you do work hard. Now, don't let me tease you. So you said also in the break, hey, I'll do anything but sing. Because we didn't pre-plan, I think. Was that a direct quote from you in the break?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see what the other thing is.
Well, you're doing the other thing. I'm just going to tell you right now. You want to make it in this show business thing, kid? This is what we do. We are going to draft our 3 home run hitters here for Dingbat. And Pat, you're going to speak into the microphone and give us your picks. I'm going to speak into the microphone and give us your picks. Kenny, you're not going to be speaking into the microphone and giving us your home run picks. Your belly button is. You're going to make a kooky voice for your belly button. You're going to lift up your shirt, and your belly button is going to become the mouth on camera that gives every one of your home run picks. Understood?
I think that's crazy that you came up with that out of all things, but I guess I mean I would rather sing than that if you got any song.
You already said no to singing, pal, and now the crowd expects a belly button to be making picks. Do you feel comfortable with that?
I mean, not necessarily, but I mean, I guess if that's what
what are you trying to get HR involved here? Jeez.
No, if that's what we're agreeing on, I guess I'll do that.
Okay, all right. Now you no skin tags or anything. You got clean skin here.
Yeah.
All right.
What is happening?
What's happening is I came up with a punishment like a good show leader.
Yes, I like it.
All right. So, rock, paper, scissors first to figure out who's picking first, second, and third. Here we go. You could do this with your shirt on, Kenny. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. All right. We both snip Boyle. Boyle has put out paper. Me and Kenny have put out scissors. You know what? I'm ready for belly button time. Kenny, I will bend the knee. You could go first. Here we go.
I don't even know if this is going to be visible or not, but
it's going to be visible. And if it's not, we will let you know.
Can we hit the song first for Dingbat?
We should probably hit the song.
Let's hit the song and let Kenny
win? Who will lose? Who will look dumb?
Remember, we need a voice.
It's time for Dingbat with Sean Marash and Pat Boyle on the Bet.
All right, Kenny Gunnar Henderson will be talking. I need a belly button voice and the belly button. Slide over a little of the camera. I need more button into the microphone.
But we also need to be able to hear him talk into the mic.
Well, he's going to yell very loud. No, lift the mic up a little bit. Lift the mic up a little bit.
Shohei Ohtani.
More. Lift the mic up to your mouth more, and let's see the belly button.
You are crushing this poor kid. You can't fade the music. We can't hear the picks because you got the belly
music
button.
down. Fade the music down. Do the thing again when you stand up. Here's what you're going to do. We just put the microphone near your mouth, but let's see the belly button make the pick, okay? That's what we're going to do.
All right.
Raise up.
All right.
Here we go.
So
and if
we're
you want to
gonna
know
go
the things
with-
I've had to do to make it in this biz, here we go.
Shohei Ohtani. We're going to go with
What is
Shohei
up?
Ohtani going up against the Boston Red Sox today. He hasn't hit a home run all weekend. We're going to go with Shohei Ohtani.
All right, so Kenny's belly button sounds like Ben Affleck in a Netflix movie, but he takes Shohei Ohtani with pick number 1. All right.
Kenny is,
By
Kenny
the way,
is the Ben Affleck meme right now where he's ripping a heater, just looks pissed. Looks like he hates life.
and Kenny, look, that's a good first try. You have 2 more picks to go. Sell it a little, all right? Come on, act like you want to be here. And if not, then pick winners. Here's my play number 1. Juan Soto to hit a home run, plus 310. Dude, he has hit 5 lasers in these first 2 games versus the Rays. None have gone out of the park. Doubles all over the place. He's seeing the ball well. He is due to smash a ding-a-ling-a-ling, a ding-dong. Give me him plus 310 to hit his first home run out of the break today versus the Rays. Patty Boyle
But
to you.
I'm cracking up. Amir producer Amir Tyree in our chat goes, Kenny is never picking anything over plus 115 again. He's taking Ohtani, Judge, basically all the big home run hitters every single time now, no matter who the matchup is. I'll tell you somebody who's due, somebody who's having a miserable season and a miserable stretch right now, 1 for his last 26. The fact that you're getting this guy at plus 400 speaks to how far he's fallen. But today, against the St. Louis Cardinals and Miles Michaelis, Matty Olson is a career 4 for 9 with 2 ding bombs off of Miles Michaelis. I think Matty Olson runs into one today. I think he snaps out of this massive slump. He's homered once in his last 15 games. Matty Olson plus 400. You want to talk about a guy that is due. Matty Olson of the Braves.
I like it, Pat. Back to Kenny Gunder Henderson's belly button for pick number 2.
All right.
Sell
so
it. Sell it.
The belly button wants some burgers. He's going to go with Jake Berger from the Miami Marlins today. You could tell, Sean, this belly button needs some burgers. I'm sorry. I don't know how to do this. This belly doesn't even really talk. It's like the mouth is shut. It needs burgers.
And
Okay.
Kenny's like skinny and like kind of ripped too, so like it doesn't,
All right.
it's
Well,
like
that belly wants burgers. He's
This
taking
would,
Jake
this
Berger.
would be better with this would be better punishment for Sean for sure.
For the record, you know where I got the idea of this punishment? I've already had my belly button talk on BetQL before last summer. That's where I came up
That's
with the
right.
idea.
I was working
You want,
that show.
you know,
as well.
matter of fact, I'll do it for you.
Oh, wow, he's upstaging you.
I'm going to take Marcelo Zuna, who hit 2 homers yesterday and is facing Miles Michaelis today at plus 320. Got it? Get it? Good.
Well done. Sean was just dying to do that. He wanted.
I'm just showing what a showman looks like. That's all.
Okay.
Sound like Cookie Monster.
It did sound
Well,
like
it sounded
Cookie
better than
Monster.
yours. All right, let's go,
Well,
Pat.
I'd rather sound like Ben Affleck than Cookie Monster.
Well, how about then you actually sound like Ben Affleck? How about you give us a winner here? Because you know Jake
All
Berger's
right.
not homering today, you fraud. Go ahead,
All right.
Pat.
Pick number 2 for me, Rays, Yankees. Right now, the way that this Yankees starting pitching rotation is throwing the ball. Nestor Cortez got blown up yesterday. Feels like the Rays are due to take Marcus Stroman, who, let's be honest, if his sinker's not working, he's going to give up a couple of bombs today. So I'm going to go with the hot hands here. And I'm going to go ahead. Randy Arozarena went deep twice yesterday. He's plus 500. I'm instead going to go to a guy who's been killing the Yankees. He also went deep yesterday. I think he goes deep again. Isaac Paredes at plus 475. Patty's bringing out the value today and bringing out the winners as well. Isaac Paredes plus 475 for the Rays.
All right, back to you.
All righty. So for the
Missed the belly
last
button.
pick, the belly button is going to go with, you guys called it, Aaron Judge. Also has not hit a home run all weekend.
Where is the voice?
I can't even move my belly button, man. Like, this is impossible.
Oh, man. You must be a real heartthrob. Good for you. You take Aaron Judge with the pick. He's paid off his punishment, albeit I didn't love,
Left a lot to be desired.
It did. He lives in Chicago, the second city, not in his future. Pick number 3 for me. It's Ellie De La Cruz at plus 370. How about this stat for you? Jake Irvin, Washington National starter. His last 2 starts into the break, 13 runs, 18 hits in 10 innings of work. He's also allowed 2 homers in each of his last 2 games. Ellie De La Cruz plus 370 to take care of business for the Reds today against the Nats. Patty, to close it out to you.
Yeah, I'm going against Andrew Heaney. I mean, he's been pretty decent this year. I think he's only given up 15 home runs, where it feels like Andrew Heaney, the way he throws, he should give up 30 home runs in any given season. I mean, we still have a couple starts left to go, probably 10 for him. But Orioles Rangers today at Globe Life Field. A guy that was just at Globe Life for the All-Star game, who again mashes lefties. His splits against lefties are incredible. Give me the catcher for Baltimore, Adley Rutschman, plus 550 to take Andrew Heaney deep today, hitting from the right side against the lefty. I think Adley leaves the Yardley.
Truly, Adley, deeply too. It will be a savage garden for the Orioles today. I don't understand it. You used that joke a couple weeks ago. Can somebody listen to music from the 90s? It's BetQL's 5-star weekend presented by BetMGM. Sean Morash, Pat Boyle, Kenny Henderson's Belly Button, all giving you the plays of the day. And if you loved it and you love more of that action, twitch.tv/BetQL is where you can find us. All right, another round of hot takes and hot cakes, GTFO or oh yeah, still to come, and our best bets of the day. It's BetQL's 5-star weekend. Continuing on next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot cakes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM. I'm Sean Morash. He's Pat Boyle. We have one more hour to play with here. We have GTFO Oya coming up, plus your Patty Beefcake, give a dog a bone bet, plus D-Gen bets, plus my Sunday Scaries, plus right now, hot takes, hot cakes. Let's go.
Morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Morash, give it to them.
Pat, sorry, I took a bite of something. You go first.
Nice. Very good, Sean. Very, very, very good for you. Looking at the World Series futures market here, and I'm actually surprised that the Dodgers are the outright favorite at plus, 333 right now on BetMGM. The Phillies at plus 425. I'm surprised because all I've heard now for weeks are the Phillies being pounded down my throat from talking heads on TV, radio shows. A lot of folks across BetQL thinks that this is the year for the Phillies to win the World Series. That's 7 All-Stars. Harper's playing like an MVP. Wheeler and Nola and all the Ranger Suarez and Christopher Sanchez. This entire pitching staff's good. Who's going to beat the Phillies? Nobody can beat the Phillies. They're going to win the World Series. They're going to get over the hump. No, they're not. No, they're not. My hot take this morning is that the Philadelphia Phillies are not winning the World Series, so you should fade them appropriately. Any other team in the National League, whatever team comes out of the American League this year, the Phillies are always the bridesmaid and never the bride, right? Losing Game 7 to the Diamondbacks in the NLCS last year. They get to the World Series 2 years ago, the magical run in 22. They still can't win the World Series. Even when this team has been down and out, they fire Joe Girardi and bring in Robbie Thompson. They're a team of destiny, couldn't win the World Series. Last year, all they had to do was beat the freaking Diamondbacks to go to the World Series. couldn't do it, collapsed in the NLCS. This year, they're the best team in baseball. The whole pitching staff's unbelievable, right? The bullpen, which has been such an issue for them in years past, is now all of a sudden untouchable, right? Jose Alvarado, he won't melt down in the postseason. Jeff Hoffman, he won't melt down in the postseason, right? Strom, who was an all-star. Oh, these guys, the Phillies have no holes, right? By the way, it's a lineup that has so many dead outs in the bottom part of that lineup that you better hope that Bryce Harper carries them in the postseason. Because I can tell you what Kyle Schwarber's going to do right now. He's probably going to hit 150 in the postseason, and maybe he runs into one home run. Castellanos, who has been, for the most part, a gigantic disappointment this year, you better hope he shows up in the postseason. Trey Turner, there's only so many standing ovations you can give him, and I know he's been great. He's an all-star this year. He's been one of the best shortstops in baseball. But when he melts down in the postseason, there's only so many standing ovations you can give to Trey Turner. Let's be nice. Let's be nice, Philly fans, and cheer on Trey Turner, and maybe he'll play well, right? Alec Boehm, that guy's got failure written all over him in the postseason. So I know they've been the best team in baseball. They've got a plus 106 run differential. They got 62 wins. But when it counts in October, the Phillies have shown you whether or not they started the year slow and they were team of destiny and they're singing their stupid Red October songs and whatever else stupid, sad songs they play in Citizen Bank Ballpark that they have rallied around. This year, now that they're the best team in baseball in terms of the win-loss record, they will still find a way to let you down in October. So you want to go ahead and take the Phillies, fine. You're going to be disappointed in October. It is going to be a red October, just like it was a red wedding for the Game of Thrones. Phillies are not winning the World Series.
All right, that is a hot take. I think that if you ask me today who I think is winning the World Series is the Phillies. But for that reason, you probably should assume they're not, because usually whoever you think is winning the World Series at this time of year, somebody gets hot, something fools around. Like nobody thought Texas was definitively winning the World Series this time this year as they started to lose starting pitchers. Baseball has changed in that way. So here's my hot take. The 4D movie experience that is sweeping the country is overrated. It is overrated. This is not a sports take, but more of a lifestyle take. Last night, my wife and I went and experienced Twisters in 4DX. Now, anybody wondering what the hell 4D is? Moves, sounds, smells, rain hitting you, wind hitting you. Depending on the movie, I guess there's different elements. But for Twisters, it was actually really cool. I'm not trying to rain on and say it wasn't a cool experience. I was shaking. I was moving. But here's the problem with that. I'm a movie guy. Love the movies. Starting to make my way really back to theaters now after having 2 young kids. When I sit down and watch a movie, we got those new recliner seats at all these movie theaters. I want to sit down, have my candy, have my popcorn, and I want to relax and hear the big thundering sounds and everything. I don't need to be on a 2-hour ride. And what I experienced yesterday, while very cool, my ass hurt. The seat is not extremely comfortable. And the lady next to me was eating a Chipotle burrito bowl, and it quite literally came within inches of smashing the guy in front of her on one big shaking scene. When you go to a movie, if you're in a seat that is rocking and rolling and your popcorn is flying all over the place, is that really an enjoyable experience? The movie experience of candy, popcorn, drinks, if you can't enjoy them over 2 hours and you're just like this, like you're on a ride the whole time, I think it's cool, don't get me wrong. But I kind of was under the impression when I walked in that movie theater yesterday that I would never not be able to see a movie in 4DX again, and I'm wrong. I would rather go back to the old movies where I sat there and was able to quietly enjoy my snacks, Pat. So a little overrated is 4DX is what I will tell you.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's just one where you have to plan accordingly, eat and drink beforehand, or just realize
you're right.
that
And there might be somebody listening going, why do you have to be such a fat pig? Why can't you just sit there? And you're right. But you know what I mean. When you go to the movie, who doesn't want a little Reese's Pieces and a little popcorn and a soda way too big?
Well, just understand maybe that when you go see a movie about hurricanes and tornadoes and whatever, that you know,
there was
you're
not
probably
a single
good
hurricane in the movie.
All right, well, it's all about tornadoes. What do tornadoes do? They spin you around and around and around and around and around. Like, just realize that that's the movie.
You right round,
baby,
right
round,
like a twister,
record,
baby.
right round, round, round. Like when you go see a movie about tornadoes, you're probably going to be jolted a couple times, right? If you went to go see like Despicable Me or, about the Minions, you're probably not getting jolted in your seat. You could probably see that in 4D and experience a little bit more, right? If you go see Jurassic Park, probably a good chance you're going to be shaken up a little bit here. So maybe eat beforehand or just get ready that when you see the dinosaurs on stage or when you see the Twister brewing in the distance, like it's about to go down, maybe put down the Chipotle bowl so you're not having beans and salsa verde, swashing up all over the place. By the way, you said it invokes the rain. Like, were you actually getting misted in the movie theater? Or do they have showers
More
in
than
there?
misted. So so you've never seen a movie in 4DX? Because this is my first. There is a button on your seat that says water on or water off. My wife turned hers off. I kept mine on. And from the ceiling in all the rain scenes, like, I wouldn't say I got soaked, but I got wet. Like, it was more than mist. It looked like it was raining in the theater. Now, the funny thing is, I have my rain on. The guy next to my wife on the other side has his rain on. It didn't matter that hers was off. She was still getting wet, even if that because of the wind blowing too in the movie. So just keep in mind, that doesn't necessarily mean you won't get wet. And it was like heavy winds from these fans they turned on, the lightning bolts, the whole theater lit up. It was really, really cool. It was really, it's so funny because I'm telling you that I think it's overrated, but at the same time, I'm telling you, if you plan on seeing Twisters, I think you probably should see it in 4DX, but just understand you're not getting your Mike and Ike's in an enjoyable experience like that. Plan on acting like you're going to Universal Studios and you're on a ride for 2 hours.
Okay. Fair enough.
It is cool, but I don't think it's changed the movie game forever is my overall hot take.
I wonder how many of these movie theaters are there? So obviously there's one on Long Island where you live, right?
There's a couple of them. And when I went to buy the tickets, because I knew it was going to be a big weekend, I was a big Twister fan when I was younger, so obviously I wanted to see this remake. They've hyped it up. The NBA Finals, you could not have a commercial about Twisters coming out. They gave you the choice at several theaters. Do you want to see it in 4DX? Do you want to see it in IMAX? Or like whatever the regular like stretch screen classic movie is? They had all the options. A couple theaters offered this 4DX, and I've talked to others who have seen, I think, Inside Out and then Super Mario Brothers, and there were a couple other movies in this 4D. But everybody did say that this would be the most intense because the whole thing, you're in storms several times.
Okay.
So, just interesting. Little food for thought. Little cultural hot take for me. Okay? Start off hour number 3. Look, you know me. I love culture.
You're all about culture. You're very cultured.
Yes.
You're a big culture guy.
All right. Now, ESPN has been putting out through executives and whatnot, all of their top 10 rankings at every NFL position. It's list season, no doubt about it. Real quickly, the running back list came out, and I'm very curious where you land on this. It's an interesting year for running back because you have young running backs from a year ago, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson entering year 2. You didn't have a big-time running back draft this year, but guys always emerge. And then you have, of course, so many veterans that change places. But here was their top 10. Christian McCaffrey, number 1. Breece Hall, number 2. Nick Chubb off that injury, number 3. Saquon to Philly, number 4. Jonathan Taylor got paid, number 5. Bijan Robinson, 6. Josh Jacobs, 7. I got to be honest with you. I close my eyes. I forget what Jacobs is right now. 8 is Jahmyr Gibbs. 9 is Derrick Henry. 10 is now in Baltimore. 10, Travis Etienne. Where is Jacobs right now? Where did he end up?
Green Bay.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Replace Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head where he went.
Minnesota.
That's right.
Okay. So obviously off that list, Alvin Kamara's gotten older. Joe Mixon is now in Houston. He's off that list. Isaiah Pacheco, who everybody loves in Kansas City, he's not on that list. DeAndre Swift went to, obviously, Chicago. He's off that list. Aaron Jones off that list as well. Early returns for me, Christian McCaffrey's got to be number 1. I do think that Breece Hall is the second best running back in football, so I actually am fine with him at number 2. I can't put Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley, 2 injury guys there. I think Derrick Henry's going to be right back in the mix. He's going to have at least one more big year now here with Baltimore. And why does Jahmyr Gibbs get punished on this list, slid back a little bit? Because of being a 2-back system, maybe. But I think Gibbs is going to be a top 5 running back of this year anyway. You can't draft a running back in the first round. Same thing Bijan Robinson in Atlanta. They might throw the ball more. That might help Bijan too. To me, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs got to be top 6, 7 running backs in football for them to be justified a year ago on what's already a short shelf life position being drafted in the first round, Pat.
I also got to ask, I agree with you. McCaffrey's clear-cut number 1, not even undisputed, not even a question. I do think Breece Hall should be number 2 because the guy basically, He averaged the most yards from scrimmage per game last year when he played. Now he has had trouble staying healthy, so who knows?
Yeah.
He's not too far out of that conversation in terms of the health stuff with Chubb and Saquon Barkley. Now, before last year, Nick Chubb has mostly been healthy, but he's coming off that gruesome leg injury. How's he going to respond off of that is going to be interesting to see. Why did Isaiah Pacheco get kind of pushed down this list? Just because Patrick Mahomes is his quarterback? I mean, let's not act
Feels
like Isaiah.
everybody is so chiefed out. But remember, this is not about fantasy, just naming the top 10 running backs in football. Isaiah Pacheco is a top 10 running back in football to me.
The guy ran for 92 yards in the Super Bowl on 18 carries, and then also had 33 yards through the air. Like this guy is a dog. This guy's, maybe it was 92 total yards. That wasn't 92 rushing yards. 92 total yards in the Super Bowl against
and a running back you win with in the cold weather. The way
exactly, and he literally runs like he is going to eviscerate an entire village, like he's Rambo. Like I like the ground should be. Well, look, I mean it's a movie. Yeah, I can't evoke a movie.
You can evoke whatever you want.
I mean, the ground should be scared of him the way he runs on the ground. But, I mean, how many times did this guy run for 80, 90 yards? I know, he's a good pass-catching back and probably an underrated one, not one that they use too much in that offense, but probably going to be more. But, I mean, in two seasons, this guy was a 7th-round draft pick. In 2 seasons with the Chiefs, he's ran for over 1,700 yards, and he's got 12 touchdowns. So, I think that's kind of Bush that he's getting pushed down this list simply because Mahomes is his quarterback. But, yeah, with all the running back carousel that we had this year, it's going to be very interesting. I feel like you have to do this list on a year-to-year basis. And I agree with you, Derrick Henry. I mean, we act like King Henry's not been basically the best running back in football for the last 10 years, like longevity-wise.
I think he's going to have a monster year here with Lamar Jackson in the back. How do you guard that?
That's the biggest issue I have with this list. Derrick Henry should be number 3 at worst behind Breece Hall because the guy's an absolute stud, and he's proven even with a horrendous offensive line.
How could you put Nick Chubb at 3? How could you put? You have no idea. He was out almost all last year. You have no idea. I hope he comes back healthy. You have no idea what he's going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's tough because how much do you factor in injuries, past injuries? How much do you that's a tough list. I hate lists. Even worse was this top 100 athletes of the 21st century they did. No, but who cares? Nobody cares.
It's for us. It's for us to debate. And ultimately, we're going to be back to football soon. College football right around the corner. All right, we have GTFO and Oh Yeah coming back. Let's see what Amir has rubbed his hands together and put up for us to debate here. And then, of course, DGen Bets, which I still need to cook up, a Sunday Scary, and Patty's Beef Shake bet, beef and cheese bet. Whatever it is, we're going to find it. It's BetQL's 5-star weekend presented by BetMGM. Again, you can watch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/BetQL. Sean Morash, Pat Boyle, and your BetQL music next.
BetQL 5-star weekend will be back on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM. Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend is presented by BetMGM. Shawnee Hungry Face.
What do you
Very
keep
hungry.
eating? You're eating coming back from every break now.
So you want to go inside my life real quick?
Yes.
All right. I just went through the whole thing at the top of the hour, how we saw a movie in 4DX, me and my wife, a little date night. There is a place by us called Bubba's Burritos. And Bubba's Burritos makes all sorts of like jam-packed stuffed burritos, but they have like traditional ones and they have some crazy ones. And it's been a smash hit place here on the South Shore of Long Island for a long time. And yesterday, we did this like once before we had kids. We felt like a burrito is the most ridiculous thing to bring into a movie theater, but it's very filling. So we brought burritos in yesterday. When I picked up the burritos before the movie, I noticed the price was a little much. When I got in the car, I'm like, that feels ridiculous. They they charged me and gave me one more burrito that I didn't order, but they're really big. So this burrito spent the night in my fridge, and every time I opened the fridge this morning, it was like, Sean, where are you? Sean, are you going to leave me uneaten? Where are you? Come to me. Eat me. So finally I listened, and I broke out the burrito and I cut it. I cut a sliver off, and I popped that in my mouth, the commercial break before this. I went upstairs. What did I do? When I had that first sliver, I heard the burrito from upstairs going, "That's all? That's all you want from me? You paid for me unknowingly. You might as well eat me." When I went upstairs, my wife was now having a piece of the burrito, and I said, "Okay, that's good." And then the burrito, the rest of it was in the fridge going, "You're going to let me be eaten by her?" So I took it, and I went to cut off another piece, to which my wife just said, "Stop pretending you're not fat, just finish it." And now I have it. And now the burrito is here, and it's going, "I am dying. I'm dying because you're eating me. I was teasing you. You didn't need to eat me, you fat bastard." And that's what I'm doing.
I love the line from your wife. Stop pretending you're not fat. Finish it.
Yeah. Real supportive marriage.
Real supportive. I can't.
By the way, speaking of food talking, did you watch Sausage Party the movie, and have you watched the show yet, which I believe is now available on Netflix? I'm going down the shore after this show here today, down the Jersey Shore, Long Beach Island. Me and my brother have had that on our list. I think we are going to binge watch as many episodes, if they're all available, as I can. Sausage Party.
You're reading me. Good hot route. Love the movie. Friday night, I may or may not have been inebriated when I told my wife it's time to start the Sausage Party show. The show. And we did. We got through 4 episodes. And look, it's as ridiculous as you can imagine. I won't spoil any of the premise. But I will say I grew tired of it by the end of the 4th episode.
Really?
I definitely like the movie more. I'm not saying it wasn't funny. I'm not saying it's not ridiculous. But in terms of binging a show, I think you could overdo it with this show. I'd pace yourself. Because 4 episodes got to be the point where I was like, all right, enough. I'm going to give it like another week before I watch the next one now. Like I was that
How
tired.
many episodes are there in the season? 10?
I'm assuming 10. I didn't click on the full episode guide, but I watched the first 4 in one shot on Friday night.
You know who a caller on WFAN, what movie said I have to watch? It's one of the greatest movies they've ever seen.
Oh, what's that?
Longlegs, which just came out.
I don't know what that is.
It's basically, I believe, it's an FBI agent that is trying to catch somebody.
Okay. Oh, you really got a lot here, Pat.
Yeah, I'm gonna audible off that, but look up Longlegs and then see if it's tickling your undercarriage there. I will say I am going to be watching Sausage Party, and I will take your advice into my thought bank there on whether or not I should pace it, how slowly I should watch it. Really quickly, too, before we get to GTFO, yeah. Speaking of which, I've got a little lunch before I go down the Jersey Shore, and I was all week this past week working at sports broadcast camp, so my lunch was taken care of. So I have like an abundance of leftovers right now, and I'm a big leftover guy, so it's not a problem. But I'm going down the shore now for the next 2 days where my whole family just went grocery shopping yesterday. I have a surplus. I have a feast waiting for me of food down the shore. So then I'll be coming back here Tuesday. I'll be filling in for Nick Costos on You Better You Bet, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You didn't get the call up to the big time, right?
First of all, wise ass, I was the #1 fill-in on that show before I started working afternoon drive on WFAN, so I'm ineligible to do that. So way to flex. You're welcome, by the way.
So anyway, I have an abundance of food. I need you to help me pick because the rest is going to be saved till Tuesday. I need you to help me pick what is going to be my lunch when we sign off the air. I have leftover from last night, chorizo quesadilla. I've got a half sub turkey provolone lettuce mayo, and I've got penne vodka with grilled chicken. I can't decide.
Wow. I go sandwich on the car ride, and I bring the penny vodka to stuff in a microwave when I get down there. Chorizo sounds like you're asking for sharks to bite your behind in the water.
That's what I'm worried about. The drive's not too long, probably an hour and a half, but Man, God forbid God forbid I get a 6-run lead in the top of the first and they answer with 4 back in the bottom of the first. And that comeback is quick and it's fast and it's furious.
Not
I don't
all
wanna
and
be
not all Wawa bathrooms are created equal on that drive. Not all are
That
created
is
equal.
true. That is true. Okay.
Okay. I guess we'll do GTFO. Oh, yeah, now here we go.
It's now time for GTFO or Oh Yeah.
We know the name of the game. We name a statement. We discuss it with GTFO or Oh Yeah. Here we go. Team USA men's basketball off their scare from South Sudan yesterday. They will win every game by more than one possession. I'm not even going to let you answer this first. It's Oh Yeah. They will go undefeated in this tournament, and every game will not come down to the last shot. Maybe it comes down to, free throws, something like that at the end, but they will win this every game by more than 2 points or 3 points.
I'm going to go GTFO. And again, we both started the show by saying that USA will win the gold. Like, forget about fading them. This isn't 2004. They're not going to lose to Argentina. I'm going to go GTFO. In medal rounds, I don't think they have a problem. They know that's when they need to step it up. They probably win each game by an average of 6 to 10 points, if not more. Maybe you get a blowout in there as well. I do think there's going to be one of the group stage games where they sleepwalk again a little bit. And again, you're going to hear, is USA not going to win the gold? So I'm going to go GTFO. There will be one game in the group stage round where it comes down to the final, possession.
Do we even know who's in the group? Like, do we even know those first 3 games they're playing? Is that
Let's find out. USA men's basketball group stage. We should have it. Here we go. They're in Group C. So they are going to play on July 28th, a week from today is their first one. They're taking on Serbia. Okay? Serbia's first. They're actually going to then play.
So wait, is Jokic playing in that game? Is he in the Olympics?
Yeah. They're going to play Jokic, I believe, to start. He's Serbian, right? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they're going to play Jokic. They're in their opening game. Group phase,
that'll be
first game, Serbia. Guess who they play in the second game of the group stage?
South Sudan.
Yep, South Sudan coming right back at you. I guarantee you they're probably going to – they were 43.5-point favorites. They'll probably be 30.5-point favorites the second time, and they probably will cover. Third game, final group stage game, Puerto Rico on August 3rd. And they will also probably be a huge favorite. By the way, Puerto Rico, who they lost to in the 2004 Olympics in that group stage. But there you go.
All right. Yeah, they're going to roll. They're going to roll. I have no doubt. GTFO or Oh Yeah. An AFC North team. I like this question. Steelers, Browns, Ravens, Bengals. We all know the big hitters will lead the NFL in sacks. GTFO or Oh Yeah. Interesting one. I'll let you
I am going, Oh Yeah. And it was the Ravens last year. And like you said, Shawnee, TJ Watt still plays football. The Steelers, off the top of my head, I believe they were top 5 in sacks, definitely top 10. The Bengals defense with Lou Anarumo, who kind of took a step back last year. Now that Joe Burrow's back and they're cooking the defense a little bit more time to rest between possessions, you would think. So I would expect them to have a healthy sack count. And then again, you got Myles Garrett with the Browns and their defense, which has been incredible the last couple of years. So you've got really some of the best pass rushers in football in this division. And then on top of that, team that led the NFL in sacks last year in the Ravens. I'm going to go, Oh Yeah. The AFC North team will lead the NFL in sacks.
All right. GTFO.
Well, hold on.
Oh Yeah. I didn't answer that.
Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be either the Steelers, Browns, or Ravens. Bengals could take it or leave it. I think Myles Garrett also poised to have a huge, huge year. That's not really cutting edge breaking news, just saying. All right. We didn't really get into this. Jake Paul, everything that's going on. Mike Tyson will be in good enough shape to put up a fight against Jake Paul. Can I be honest about something? We're going to watch it, right? Like, if you have Netflix, you'll probably watch it, although I hate the fact that it's going to be now in November football season, but the Tyson health scare, it's a morbid curiosity thing. I know a lot of people like the Tysonites and everything. I really am fearful for Mike Tyson in this fight. I think that we all just assume because he's Iron Mike, whatever. Jake Paul is so young and crazy and actually is legitimately good. I know he's not licensed, and that's what makes all of his weird, TikTok-esque fights different. I'm worried about Tyson in this fight and taking the money bag here. I really am. I don't think he is going to be able to put up a good enough fight. And define good enough fight, you get a couple punches landed in the first round, I guess, but he's not going to be able age-wise to sustain what the hell Jake Paul has going on right now, I am concerned about Tyson, and I don't think he'll be in good enough shape to put up a good enough fight.
I mean, yeah. So again, you have to that, and Mamir doing a good job here, leading us into deliberating what is or what is not a putting up a fight. I think he will be in good enough shape to put up a fight. Now, he ultimately might get knocked out in like the 7th or 8th round. Who knows? Jake Paul, depending on how much money he gets paid, and I wouldn't put past for any of these boxing matches to be scripted or rigged. I'm going to lay that out there, right? I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Paul and Mike Tyson kind of, let's put on a good show, let's go the distance here, and then Jake Paul wins again because he paid Mike Tyson $50 million on the side. I'm just going to be honest. That's the conspiracy theorist in me here. It's a boxing match with a YouTuber. We've seen the road we've seen the road that these have gone down. So I will personally not be putting a single dime on that fight. But I'm going to say, just for the sake that Jake Paul will respect the legend of Mike Tyson and say, yeah, we'll go the distance. I'll, maybe pull a couple punches here. He'll put up a good enough fight against Jake Paul.
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. That fight makes me uncomfortable, and I hate that because then it sounds like I'm like a wimp, but it just does. Bryce Harper at plus 600 is a great play for National League MVP. I'm going to say, oh yeah, just from this standpoint. The Phillies are still going to be in the mix the whole time. And what's crazy about it is the last 2 years, the Phillies played their best baseball in the second half of the year. So imagine how much better the Phillies can be in the second half if Bryce Harper takes off. Obviously, we know it feels like Aaron Judge a runaway in the American League. The NL, still some room there. You know what, though? I'm flipping. As I say this, I say GTFO because I don't like the word great. It's not a great play. It's a fun, good play. I got to use the word great here and go from saying, oh, yeah, to GTFO. It's not a great play, but I still think it's worth investing.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys can, if possible, here in the next minute, flash us the NL MVP odds. I mean, it's basically become Judge is only not winning the AL MVP if he gets hurt, and in the National League, Shohei Ohtani is not winning the NL MVP only in the scenario where he gets hurt. Minus 275 right now, if I'm reading that correctly, or is that minus 375? Yeah. Either way, he's a massive favorite. He's not winning the MVP. The only way Bryce Harper wins the National League MVP is if Shohei Ohtani gets hurt and gets hurt like within the next 2 weeks here. Because, Sean, let me just run you through the stats, right? Let me just run you through here the numbers. Who's got the better batting average? Ohtani, 315 to Bryce Harper's 299. OPS, Ohtani, 1,033 to Bryce Harper's 978. Ohtani, 29 home runs to Bryce Harper's 22 home runs. Ohtani, 69 RBIs to Bryce Harper's 62 RBIs. Hits, Ohtani, 119 hits to Harper's 93 hits. I know he's played more games, but still, I mean, the numbers are the numbers. And Ohtani is a 5-tool player, 23 stolen bases. Harper only has 4. Ohtani's got a 5.4 WAR, Harper 3.8. It's not even a comparison.
Well,
The only way Ohtani doesn't win this award is if he gets hurt in the next 2 weeks.
And anything is possible. I'm telling you, I don't think it's a great play to play Bryce Harper, but why it's also a good fun play. I mentioned everything about the second half of years with the Phillies and him going unconscious at the right time. You played conspiracy theory with Tyson and Jake Paul, right? Can I give you a little conspiracy theory? The writers who vote on MVP secretly turned off by how much Ohtani skated, and we kind of glossed over the whole gambling thing. We know that the writers like to hold grudges. See Pete Rose. Could the writers look at them and go, you know what, Ohtani? I don't trust what happened at the beginning of the year. And that fades a little bit if Bryce Harper's hot enough to overtake and you have a true second candidate.
I would agree in that if there's ever a year for voter fatigue where Ohtani, any year that he pitches and he puts up numbers close to this, it's a runaway train. So this is the one year in theory, but he would not win MVP, but he's still blowing him out of the water in all the offensive numbers. So it's still not close in my opinion.
All right, a good addition to GTFO. You wouldn't even get through everything, but that's okay. We have our best bets of the day to close out the show next. It's Sean Morash. He's Pat Boyle. We're BetQL's 5-Star Weekend.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. Football training camps will be in full effect this week for those who still aren't open. A wild final round here in the Open, so much so that right now I couldn't even tell you the first name of the leader, Lawrence at -7.
Thriston, South African Thriston Lawrence. And Shawnee, Boyle's beef bet is going to involve the Open, little live DGen action here coming up. So keep that in mind.
All right, so I'm not going to say anything else. Let's just get to our degeneration bet.
Might be a year older. I might be a little grayer. But at the end of the day, I'm still a degenerate.
Oh, baby, it's degenerate bets. The bets you're not thinking of, the bets you feel dirty making, but the bets we'll make anyway. I'm going to start you off, Pat. I'm going to World Match Play Darts this afternoon at 3:15 Eastern. What? Where is that on my sportsbook? Oh, it's there. It is there if you scroll the others category. And a big-time favorite today is Luke Humphreys. But, you know, a minus in the 200s of winning the match, is that really going to tickle you? Is that going to get under there and go, is that really a DGen bet? So forget him to win. Do you know what a 180 is in darts? It's the highest possible score you can get on a turn. 3 triple 20s, the whole deal. His over-under for the 180s in the match, you might be saying, Sean, you're speaking a different language to me, is set at 11.5. Juice to the under at -134. Lay that juice. Humphreys is going to win this match, but he's going to hit the under on 11.5. It'll be 11 or less for Humphreys here at World Match Play Darts at 3:15 on total 180s. Now, if it doesn't get more degenerate than that, I don't know what it does, but that's what I do for you, baby.
I have no idea any of what the terms you threw out, what that means. Man, you know I'm a big tennis guy. You just started throwing out dart terminology. I have no idea what you're saying. But, hey, Chris Humphreys, Adam Humphreys to go under 11.5, 180s with the juice and the darts and the triple 20s. Got it. I'm going to go back to tennis. I haven't given you a tennis bet, so you know I'm good for a tennis bet here. Wimbledon's done. U.S. Open in just over a month. We got the Olympics coming up back where the French Open was, so a lot of tennis stuff going on, a lot of big tennis bets. You know, I'll have you covered. Small tournament going on in Newport, Rhode Island this weekend. They also play it on grass. And the final today is 2 Americans. A young kid, Alex Mickelson, who's been climbing up the rankings. He's going to be inside the top 50, I believe, even if he wins or loses this match today against Marcos Giron. I'm honestly stunned that Marcos Giron, who is going to be, I believe, inside the top 40 after this match, no matter what happens, he's an underdog, plus 120 on BetMGM. And I look at the caliber of opponents that Alex Mickelson has played, cousin of Phil, this week. And it's a bunch of big servers that offer nothing from the baseline. Marcos Giron is going to be the best player in terms of the baseline rallies that he's played this week. God. And Alex Mickelson got to the final here last year. Nice young player. I can't believe he's a favorite. So based off that alone, I think this line is incorrect. So I'm going to go ahead and take Marcos Giron, the underdog, plus 120. More experience. He's done more on grass in his career. Give me Marcos Giron. And Shawnee, you've got a real problem going on. What is happening with you?
Am I on camera?
You've been on camera. You're on the mic. I can hear you struggling. What's going on with you, man? Is that Bubba's Burritos coming back real strong here?
I shouldn't have had a burrito for breakfast.
Good thing we only got 9 minutes left, and then you can empty out whatever you need to do, and that bathroom can look like a crime scene, but 10 more minutes. Keep it together here for us.
I'm sweating like Ewing at the free throw line right now. Give me let's get the Sunday Scaries bed going.
The weekend is
this is a scary
over,
moment here.
But there's still
scary
time
hours
to place just one more bet. Don't panic. There's still time to win it all back. It's time for the Sunday Scaries.
All right. You know the time. I give you a bet. A bunch of I give you a bunch of bets. They form a parlay. And yeah, and we hope we hit. So I'm going to give you a 5-legger right now. 20-1 odds, 5 legs. All right. Let's start it off. Leg number 1. I'm taking Ellie. This is bad. Ellie De La Cruz, 2 or more total bases. I told you earlier, Jake Irvin has been hit hard, lasting just a combined 10 innings his last 2 starts, 18 combined hits, 2 homers in each game. I took Ellie De La Cruz and dingbat about an hour ago. I think Ellie De La Cruz, 2 or more total bases. Lock that up. Leg number 1. Leg number 2, Alec Boehm in that Phillies game today. 2 or more total bases for him. Obviously, he's been hot for the Phils of late. Let's continue the good times rolling against the Pirates in what can only be ironically named the poop series. Philly 0-0 Pirates on a scoreboard, as you've seen that meme go around. I should have known when I included this in the Sunday Scaries how I'd be feeling in the final segment of the show. But Alec Boehm, 2 or more total bases in the poop series. Game number 3, Cardinals and Braves. Look, Ozuna's been tearing it up. Meikle is pitching for the Cardinals here. Warm day down in Georgia. Over 8.5 runs for the Cardinals and Braves. Leg number 3. Leg number 4, bounce back spot. Yankees got obliterated by the Rays yesterday. Got off to a good start Monday. I think Stroman's going to give you a nice little effort today. And I think the Yankees, look, they're still trying to find their way. They're going to beat the Rays today. Little money line. I think Stroman off the extended break has a little something today. Yankees money line over the Rays. And the Mets and Marlins down in Florida, Christian Scott and God knows who pitching for the Marlins. Smells like runs to me. I shouldn't be using that word either. Over 8.5 runs, Mets and Marlins. So Ellie De La Cruz, 2 or more total bases versus the Nats. Alec Boehm, 2 or more total bases versus the Pirates. Over 8.5 runs for the Cardinals and Braves. The Yankee money line versus the Rays. Don't trust it. 8.5 on the overruns, Mets and Marlins. Patty, take it away.
Wow, this guy is struggling here. And the voice is cracking. You are sweating like a greased pig right now. No pun intended. And I'm not trying to, call you fat or anything. You are having a real tough time here. If you need to go,
full disclosure for the audience, if this was local radio, we are doing nationally here on BetQL where we have our breaks spaced out by time. Local radio, you could throw to commercial break at any time. I'd be doing that right now if it was a local radio.
Is there something that's going to be coming out the front for you as well? Because you sound like you're about to throw up.
No.
It's just you're hanging on for dear life here out the back. Okay.
Put it this way: there is a review to see if we cross the pylon here.
If you need to go here, I can finish the show in the next 5+ minutes that we got going. Okay, I love you for that, buddy. All right. Usually Boyle's beef bet is I'm pissed off at somebody or some team. That's not the case this week, but I will be pissed off here if young Tristan Lawrence can't get past the line. Live bet for the Open here on the final back 9. Let's see who's going to be a major champion. Boyle's beef bet. Let's hit it.
Pat Boyle's beef bet of the week. I'm angry. I'm ready. I need to bet. It's Pat Boyle's beef bet of the week on the bet.
All right. Live looking for you here on the Open. X-Man, Xander Schauffele is 6 under. He just teed off on 12 and hit it into the high stuff. Justin Rose, who has been surging so far today, he's 6 under. He is on the 12th hole. But the young South African Tristan Lawrence, who probably 90% of casual golf fans, if not 99%, had no idea who he was going into this weekend. Tristan Lawrence is 7 under. He is your leader. He is on the 11th right now. And I'm looking at the live odds here on BetMGM. And honestly, I'm a little surprised. I am a little surprised here that Tristan Lawrence is still the 3rd favorite. The guy has a 1-stroke lead on a back 9 that basically everybody at best has played even par for this weekend. Tristan Lawrence right now, I'm locking it in. Plus 225 to win the Open. X-Man Xander Schauffele's plus 175. Rose is plus 225. Tristan Lawrence plus 225 to finish this thing off here and win the Open. I was looking at what he has done on the back 9 so far this week. Basically, it's been even par the whole way. Same thing with Rose and same thing with Schauffele here. So this guy, Tristan Lawrence, is playing out of his skull. He shot a 65 yesterday. I believe he's 4 under for the round today. He has sprung up the leaderboard. I'm going to bank on a guy that has not been in this spot too many times against 2 other guys that Xander Schauffele, a major winner. I'm going to bank on Tristan Lawrence holding off the dogs here and winning his first major championship. He's 7 under right now, plus 225 Give me the young South African, Shawnee. What do you think about that?
I like it. As I said, first time I've ever heard of him. It's interesting because you're down on Trevor Lawrence, but you're high on Tristan Lawrence. We're shooting. This course is unbelievable, by the way. Teeing off next to full-blown railroad tracks. There's an airport behind one of the holes. It's on a beach. It almost feels like they've made this whole board up in some kind of weird version of Sim City. For those who remember playing that video game,
Yes.
There's just a bunch of stuff going on around the golf course. Good reference by me, of course. Damn good reference by me. Either way, this is going to basically sew it up for us and caring about golf season the rest of the year. And that's okay, because next week when we're on the show, we're going to be looking ahead to U.S. Men's Olympics playing Serbia. I bet you the crowd will be, if not on during our show because of the time difference, I guess we'll find
I think it's either a 10:45 a.m. Eastern tip or 11:15. Either way, yes, we will be on the air for it.
That's great. That's absolutely great. And we are now some 10 days away from the Hall of Fame game. You want to talk about DGen bets? Those preseason NFL bets are going to be coming in hot and heavy. And now, what are we, 5 weeks away from college football? I mean, that is just bananas sandwich, peanut butter and fluff. Look, I'm going to level to you, audience. I made a tactical error with my breakfast. And if you think that's disgusting, I don't know what to tell you. All right, we've all been there. Your body knows when you're making that right-hand turn almost home and alarm bells start going off. And that's exactly what's happening to me now, as my body seems to know when this show wraps. I want to thank Amir. I want to thank Dan. I want to thank Kenny and his belly button for having a grand old time here on BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. Patty Boyle, you have a sandwich and some Alavaka to go. Can you vamp for the last 45 seconds before I go in my pants? I got to go, everybody.
Shawnee's going to head out of here. He is exiting stage left. We have called into the bullpen. He is racing down the showers. The turtle is out of the shell, right? The prairie dog is in full blossom right now. So Shawnee's going to go ahead and take care of that. And for everybody that is grossed out or wants to throw up their breakfast or maybe their early lunch, we apologize. And we'll hope to be better next week. And we will be, I promise. Again, thanks to everybody on the show. We'll see you next Sunday morning. Until then, Tristan Lawrence, take us home. Tristan Lawrence, the young South African. I don't even know what a South African accent sounds like, but that's how we'll end the show. Enjoy your golf. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your baseball. We'll see you next Sunday. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. Smell ya.
You've been listening to the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM. If you missed any of the shows, listen back anytime on the new and improved Odyssey app.